was kind of stupid. I'll know not to schedule it on my phone anymore.
That's weird. You think it's all under the account? It would be either or, but it's a mobile device.
Mm-hmm.
At least we'll give people a few minutes to come in. They know. That's when the first person comes in. We'll just start.
Or we can just start because it's actually saying that we're live. So
Oh,
we
okay.
can just start. So
We are going to save it anyways.
yeah,
So
we're
watch
gonna.
later.
Welcome to the bumpiness that is our first official. Well, you did the live stream
Yeah, that was
a
kind
few
of
weeks
testing
ago.
the waters. Not really
Didn't really
official.
benefit from that
Oh,
test.
somebody in? I don't have my glasses
Oh,
on,
okay.
so you'll
You
have to
should get
tell.
your glasses. No one cares if. Does anybody care if he's wearing his glasses? No, we don't care. Hello, Psycho's Platters. Good evening. Hello. Come on in. Welcome to the nuttiness that is our first duo live stream. DJ H Record Hound is here. Yep. Welcome. Thanks for coming, you guys.
I don't like wearing my glasses.
Why you wear? Does anybody care that he wears his glasses?
Actually, they're very filthy from work.
Oh,
DJ
it's terrible. He wants to be able to see what he's doing and read the comments, but there he goes. Now you can see.
This is our first live stream. Heidi thought it would be better if we finish up all our latest new purchases via live stream, because we have so many and we did cut some videos, but it's tedious to sit there and edit. So we thought we'd just knock it all out in one shot. Excuse me, everything we bought up until this point. And
yeah, so it's kind of like November/December purchases, and we're just here to chat too. So feel free to comment on anything that you're seeing.
Chauncey.
Hi, Chauncey. Welcome. Come on in. How's everybody doing tonight?
Not that everybody was paying real close attention to our videos. I kind of remember where I left off. So if I repeat anything, show anything I already showed, I'm sorry, but probably nobody remembers.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be showing the latest record and CD acquisitions from probably maybe even going into October, the end of October through November till up until now. Kind of just deciding what to do with our channel as far as this goes, and doing recent purchases as a live stream, because you can actually save this and it can be on our channel and you can watch it at any time as well. So it's kind of nice to do something kind of just off the cuff and have it be out there and not have to spend a lot of time editing it. I mean, I don't hate my job or anything, but there are days where I am just on the computer all day long, and I swear that if I have to get even look at a computer screen, I'm gonna start twitching or something. So this will be a great way for us to just keep to get the videos out in a more timely fashion as far as new purchases go.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a whole lot compared to what John has to show tonight. So do you want to start off?
All right. I'm pretty sure this is where I left off with the 45s. Let me get this out of the plastic.
How's everybody doing tonight? Let us know in the chat. It's nice and cold and starting to snow up here in northern Michigan, which is big surprise, right? But honestly, we haven't really had a lot of snow.
Yeah, it's wet sleeting out now.
And I don't like that either, because then it gets really cold and icy and it's scary for driving. And we've had 4 hit and runs in the past 2 weeks.
And 2 of those resulted in a death.
It's horrible. I don't know what's going on.
Well, yeah, that one wasn't far from us.
Yeah, one of them was with a dog too. Well, which is, not to say that.
Leland
yeah.
I didn't recognize the name
of
the road.
Careful out there, folks. Chauncey likes your hot dog shirt. You want to talk about your?
This is a sweatshirt from a hot dog place in New Jersey that I've known about since I was a kid, and I stopped there for the first time on one of our trips back home with Heidi. It's Hot Dog Johnny's on Route 46 in Buttsville, New Jersey. Good hot dogs, but strange that the only 2 beverages they offer are root beer and buttermilk. And the few times I've been there, I've never seen anybody buttermilk.
Order the buttermilk?
What's that stuff in the bottom of the glass when you're
gross?
Yeah, you remember stopping?
Yeah, I remember stopping there.
Yeah,
Hot Dog
really
Johnny's.
really popular place.
Mine is cool too. I have a shirt, John Waters, Crybaby. This is not John Waters. This is Johnny Depp. But yeah, I love my
It says
Johnny
the
Depp
drapes
shirt.
looks like a
It
Misfits
does.
shirt.
It looks like the Cramps or Misfits or something. Psycho says he's got a friend in Ironwood and a friend in Battle Creek. Yeah, we're not really close to any of those, but I know what you're talking about. I think Ironwood's in the UP.
I think Ironwood's in Battle Creek.
Battle Creek, yeah, Kellogg's, right? The cereal town.
Whenever you sent away for something as a kid, you pictured Battle Creek, Michigan in your mind.
We should go there. It's like a few hours
goes
away.
Out to Master John Tremblay. Get out right away.
Oh, cool. Chauncey met John Waters. It's cool. Our friend Laura, that is in Tampa, she had a radio show there for many, many years. She's a big John Waters fan and has some pictures with him. Yeah, he seems like a cool guy. I love Crybaby. People think it's a horrible movie, but it's one of my faves. All right, enough chatter.
Right, first one. I had this on my eBay watch list forever, and I kind of wanted to get it. One of those things I didn't need, but I like the cover, the picture on there. This is an Australian EP called The Monkees, Volume 1 on RCA. Has 4 songs, Theme from the Monkees, Saturday's Child, Tomorrow's Gonna Be Another Day, and Take a Giant Step. I love this photo shoot. I think it's from the Monkees in Texas episode. I don't know. I look at that and I think of summertime, humid, hard-packed dirt. There's a volume 2 with a red border. This was, like I said, this was on my eBay watch list for a long time. And one day I got sent an offer and I jumped on it. It's just another cool thing to have. We love the Monkees and it sounds good. I probably will get volume 2 one day.
Of course.
And again, it's that record collector fetishy thing where you look at it and you're like, I need that. So it was, and for a record coming from Australia, it arrived at our house much faster than things I've purchased right here in America.
Isn't that amazing? That's so crazy. DJ H Record Hound says, I'm a fan of the Youpers from Ishpeming. Yeah, I remember. Neither one of us are native Michiganders, but I didn't know. I don't think I heard of that vocal group or comedy group, whatever you want to call it.
Very localized.
Yeah, until we came to Michigan. So
I had to.
I know what you're talking about.
I had to explain Uncle Floyd to you, which is a New Jersey thing.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was from Monkees in Texas, though, because it seems like that is from an earlier. That looks like season 1 Monkees to me, and Monkees in Texas is like.
Oh no, I think it's Monkees in a Ghost Town.
Monkees in a Ghost Town.
Because I showed this.
Yeah, that looks like more like.
I showed this in the Zilch Monkees group, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, that photo shoots from Monkees." I'm sorry, I said Monkees in Texas. Yeah, this is first season. I don't know. I love that photo session.
You're right, Chauncey. You can never have enough Monkees. You know, you think once you think you got everything, you find something else, but. My next one, or my first one actually, is if you've been watching our show, you know that I've recently discovered the duo First Aid Kit, thanks to Steve Carlson, actually. I don't know if you folks watch Steve Carlson. If you don't, you should. He's pretty much the mayor of the vinyl community, if you want to call it that. But super, super nice guy. John got to meet him a few weeks back.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it was really cool. But anyway, this is Palomino, their latest release. They're sisters from Sweden. And this is a really, really fantastic album. I'm just going to go ahead and take the shrink off. You guys can all cringe as I pull and free it from the shrink. Oh my gosh. Gonna save the hype sticker though, because we want to see. I haven't done that yet. So here's the inside photo. And I haven't seen it. I didn't get the special. They had like a record store release because I wanted this when it, as soon as I was able to get it. And I thought that our local record store would have it, and they didn't. So I actually had to order it online, and I ended up just getting the regular black vinyl. And what's kind of annoying about this record, we've played some cuts off of it on our radio show. And so if you just have the record, you don't know what song is what and what side is what. So that's my only complaint about the record. I mean, it's a great album, what they've done. And I hate using the adjective great. It's such a, that's great. This is great. Everything's great. But, I have to get better at my adjectives.
A wonderful album.
It's a very good album. And I'm really enjoying it.
I don't think we could be like proper rock critics and be.
If I had enough time to sit down and write, because it's part of my job actually to write, but not, so there's just days where I can't think of the words to describe, but this is very good. Highly recommended if you've never heard of First Aid Kit. Pop Americana with a little bit of country kind of rolled in there, but yeah, very cool.
Okay, when we went to the record show down in Bay City, when was that already? October?
That was October 1st.
October. And I buy a lot of 45s, as you can see from our shows. And there weren't a lot of guys there with 45s. Later on, somebody said, "Oh, 4 or 5 boxes." I didn't see them. But at one table, I purchased 145 because I felt bad. I was looking through the entire box, and the lady was conversing with me. So I got this. This is a kind of obscure British invasion band. And they turn up on a lot of those cheapo compilations where they have one side of pre-famed Dave Clark 5 tracks, and on the other side will have tracks by this band. These are the Washington, D.C.'s on Date from 1966. This side is called 32nd Floor, and the other side is A Whole Lot More. Kind of decent mod rock. Nothing really to write home about, but it's not like cringy or anything, but decent British invasion type rock from 1966.
I thought it was the Zombies at first because that Date label reminds me of like.
But yeah, the Washington D.C.'s not much to say about.
Dave, the pickup artist, is here. He says, "Greetings from Jackass Flats." Where's that? That could be anywhere, really, right? It could be a jackass and live in an apartment because technically that would be like the Jackass Flats. So this might be a name for something that I'm just not aware of. My next, I did pick up at our local. It was just calling out to me. I didn't. Oh, Jacksonville, Florida. Oh, cool, nice. Having much better weather than we're having right now, I'm sure, without even knowing. But yeah, I found this Schoolboys in Disgrace by the Kinks. Of course, we know this album. Of course, we have it on CD in a couple of different, iterations of it. I think.
I have 2 CDs.
But this was actually sealed, which I thought was kind of cool, and it's still sealed. I have not opened it yet. I should open it. I should open it right now. Should I open it?
I guess so.
Okay. Well, this is cool because I'm assuming, it's RCA, 1975.
I think it's the first press.
If it's a first press, then,
I'm not familiar with
I need your little cutter opener thingy. My nails aren't that long. I can free it. Or actually, no.
I don't know if this.
I don't want to hurt the cover.
Yeah, this thing might hurt the cover.
I can't believe we're in the record room. We don't have anything to open a record with, which is weird. No.
Use my thumb.
You know what you can do is just go get me scissors. That would be easier. I'm not going to cut it.
Or a pin.
Yeah, give me that. Careful. Yeah, this one does have the hard way on the Chauncey's for sure. That's the biggest, I guess, probably the most well-known track from the album. It was calling out to me because it was still sealed after all these years. Nobody had ever opened it. And I don't know how it ended up here in Traverse City, Michigan.
It's got a cutout hole. So
it was a return at some point. And I didn't really care that it has a cutout. I mean, jeez. But here we are opening this record from 40 odd years ago.
1975?
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of crinkled on the side when it got first put in. But does have all the lyrics on that.
That's an original first press.
It's the first press.
There must be a second pressing for that.
I
look at that cover.
Probably in the 80s.
I look at that back cover and everything, and it brings back memories of perusing the records in Pathmark on a Friday night while Mom grocery shopped and planning my next purchase, and pre-internet and everything. It's like, well, what is this record about? What is this? Schoolboys in Disgrace.
Yeah, if you're not 100% familiar with this album, like Chauncey mentioned, it does have their song "The Hard Way" on there. So if you haven't heard a lot of the Kinks, but know some of their more common songs, like "The Hard Way," is probably one of the better tracks on this album. There's some good points on this album. It's not the greatest Kinks album, but it does have one of my favorite ballads that they ever do called "No More Looking Back." So if you ever get a chance, if you've not heard it, "No More Looking Back" is definitely worth the price of admission for this album. The Kinks, Schoolboys in Disgrace, still in its
The
shrink.
last one on RCA.
I'll probably take the shrink off and just put it in plastic. But oh, is it the last one?
The
on
last
RCA?
RCA album before they moved to Arista or Arista, however you pronounce it.
Is it
and
Arista
and the
or
concept
Arista?
behind this is supposed to be about Mr. Flash's childhood
Mhm.
and how he became Mr. Flash. It even says on the liners in the back.
But a lot of it is almost a bit. If you know anything about Dave Davis and his the things that had happened in his life as a young teen, and getting kicked out of school for fooling around with girls, and then getting his girlfriend pregnant, and I believe this album draws from that experience quite a bit. So it's like I've heard Ray say before, like Dave kind of lived it, and Ray wrote about it. So.
All right, next up for me, another 45. I've mentioned before that I spent a lot of time on the website called 45cat.com. I am either forever indebted or very angry at my best friend Richard Sabella for showing me that website. But I was perusing the Colpix discography. If you know your labels, Colpix was the predecessor to Cold Gems, and I happened to come across this. And I was like, oh, I'll put that on my want list, and I found one on eBay really cheap. This is Colpix Records from 1965. Billy Carr, Carr. The top side is called What's Come Over This World, while the flip is the theme song to the 1965-66 Sally Field TV show Gidget. But what's interesting about the top side is there's a small clutch of like answer records around 1964, 5, 6 that were like answer records to protest songs that were answer records in like a conservative Republican way. The most well-known one is Dawn of Correction by the Spokesman, but that's what this is. What's Come Over This World by Billy Carr, almost like a pro-Vietnam Goldwater Republican. But I really got it for the B-side because he does the theme to Gidget, which is a fun 60s show we watched. We always say that if Gidget had lasted, there should have been a Gidget Monkeys crossover episode, which would have been cool. But yeah, this is from 65. Promo too.
I'm gonna have you keep going on this. I am helping out a friend of ours who's stuck in Traverse City without dinner right now, so I'm gonna order DoorDash for them.
Oh, I don't say that. All right, and while we were down in Bay City after we left the record show, we stopped in at what the hell is it called? Electric Kitsch Records, and I forgot they had moved, and we drove right past. I remember we were using our Google Map thing on her phone, and the neighbor just didn't look like a neighbor for a record store. And I'm like, oh, there it is. Cool little store, great prices, nice crowd, sense of humor. If you look at their bin cards, because they were comically misspelled things, plenty of parking. Found a number of things, which you'll see when I get to the LPs, but there was a box at the counter that said more rare, valuable 45s. And I was happy to find this because I've been looking for this for a long time, and it was pretty affordable. I don't remember the price. Yeah, it was pretty. It was only $8, $7.55. I've mentioned I'm a fan of 1960s Pontiacs and GTOs in particular, but this is a GTO related record by Patty Flabby's Coughed Engine called Billy's Got a Goat, and this is from 1968. So it's kind of late for a GTO novelty record because the GTO was introduced in '64. But this is and also this is based out of New York on the Diamond label with Resnick and Levine, the bubblegum guys, doing it. The flip side is called Tin Can Eater, which is a song that's just playing backwards, which they did on a lot of those Super K and Buddha bubblegum records. So I got that. That was cool to find. One to take off my want list. And also in the same box up front, I grabbed this. This is, can't say I'm a fan of this artist, but it was interesting to see this. This is Bobby V on Liberty doing Van Dyke Park's High Coin, but you see in the songwriting credits, Bobby V changed the lyrics or completely rewrote the lyrics to the song. And also what makes me laugh about this is some radio programmer has written on this promo label rather large, no. Stuff like that, little things like that make me laugh. The flip side is a Bacharach David tune, The Story of My Life. And it's some radio programmer here wrote November 3rd, 1965 on there, and that's the side they want him to play. But little stuff like that makes me laugh. That makes a record unique. A music programmer writing no. Like at the store I worked at, we had a 45 of the Ramones Don't Come Close in picture sleeve, and some radio programmer had written on it, I don't think so. So while Heidi's helping our friend, I'll move on to the LPs. This first couple are from the Bay City Record Show. This is Congos, also known as, his full name is John Congos. This is on Elektra from 1972. He was a British artist. I guess you'd call him a singer-songwriter. I played the song on here that's on here called He's Gonna Step on You Again on our show not long ago. And I think I read it's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the first song to actually use sampling. It samples some kind of rhythm, bongos or something. Can't tell you too much more about this because we're winging it, so I didn't do much research. But it's on the Elektra Butterfly. Some of these records I got from a dealer when we went up to Onaway, and he came to the show. You'll see some of those soon. I think this was in his stuff, and I got it from him. There was one cool dealer in the corner. I had a bunch of new vinyl. He was very organized, not just for us, the customers, for him as a dealer to reorder things. And I grabbed this, The Stooges, Have Some Fun, live at Unganos, which was a tiny club in New York City where a lot of big names played on the way up or on the way down. This is on Elektra Rhino, came out in 2010. Has Loose, Down on the Street, mainly tracks from Funhouse, and I guess some improvisations. There's a track called Going to Unganos and one called Have Some Fun, My Dream is Dead. So this is going to be fun to listen to and blast really loud. I don't know what the sound quality's like. It just makes me laugh because the sticker says includes a big ass poster, not just a poster, a big ass poster. This is a more LPs from Electric Kitsch. I collect a lot of what everybody else would think is weird stuff. I was happy to find this. This is Lady in Cement, composed and conducted by Hugo Montenegro, the soundtrack to the 1967 or 68 Frank Sinatra detective film. The follow-up to Tony Rome, who plays the same character. I noticed a track in here that Jilly's Joint actually heard played in clubs back home in New York City, 20th Century Fox. But I collect, a lot of odd stuff. Some people. I like soundtracks. I like groovy 60s soundtracks, and so this will be cool to get. This has actually been put out on CD by a label called Harkit. Next up, also from Electric Kitsch, another soundtrack. This is The Guru, which I think is from 1969 on RCA, a film starring Michael York, Rita Tushingham, and it's a bit kind of like based on George Harrison's little trip to India in '66. This pop star goes to India to learn sitar, learn the Indian culture, get away from his pop star life. Maybe he meets someone and falls in love. Not officially on DVD, but if you go to a website called Mod Cinema, they have it there. And of course, this is on the orange RCA Victor label. I think this is an older RCA inner sleeve. But so this should be something fun to watch. I'm hoping it maybe has like some fun, fast-paced Austin Powers go-go type sitar music on it. This one, another soundtrack, rather late for a surf film, but this is from about 1969. This is the soundtrack to Follow Me on Uni, with some music by Dino, Desi, and Billy before they kind of split up in 69, 70. Music by Stu Phillips, who did a lot of the incidental music for the Monkees and other 60s shows. And I think you know what the Uni label looks like, so I'm not going to pull it out. So this should be another fun listen.
All right, so we got some comments coming in.
Catch up on comments.
Dave says Arista is the bands where the bands went to put out their lame late 70s albums.
Just the Kinks or other bands?
Other bands, I guess. Any bands. He says, nice 45s.
Nice.
DJ H Record Hound says, John Congos was from South Africa.
Ah, that's right.
He's Gonna Step on You Again was first hit to use a looped recording throughout.
That's what okay, yeah.
Tukalushi Man?
Yeah.
Was also a single from it.
Yeah. because I played He's
Nice.
Gonna
See?
Step on.
There's
He,
always
yeah,
info.
I played He's Gonna Step on You again from one of my RPM label box sets not long ago, and it said in there that it was used sampling. Okay, so it uses a loop. Yeah, he was a South African guy. Okay. Did you want to do one? Or you want me
No,
to
go
keep
ahead.
going?
I'm almost.
Okay. Next up, we had this in my record store years ago. I don't know why I never bought it. My friend Bill Luther said, "Oh yeah, that's a really groovy record," and I was thinking of it, and I came across a cheap one on eBay. This is jazz guitarist Joe Pass on World Pacific doing the Stones jazz, and I don't know why no genius at World Pacific thought to call this Passing Stones, because that would have been a great title. It's all guitar instrumental versions of Rolling Stones songs up until 1966. So you get 19th Nervous Breakdown, Paint It Black. Interesting that they do. He does I Am Waiting and What a Shame. This is like one of those jazz records that my manager at our radio station say were paycheck records for them. Instead of doing straight jazz, they did something like this to help pay the mortgage. World Pacific's an interesting label. It's a lot of jazz spun off in Pacific jazz. But a lot of weird singles during the Psych era. But yeah, I remember this being at our store and regretting never buying it. So I found a cheap one on eBay recently. Joe Pass, great jazz
Are
guitarist.
you going to say what the album should be called?
Yeah, I already said.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm like trying to do two things at once right now. Chauncey says, I remember the movie. So you were talking about a movie a minute ago. Or
The
something.
Guru or
The
Follow
Guru?
Me? Or...
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And Dave says, Almonds and the Dead went to Arista. Did they really? Oh.
Yeah, the Dead run Arista. Oh, we're not fans of Grateful Dead.
I know people probably hate us for that, but
I like the first album, because the very first album is like a garage rock record. It's like equal with the Music Machine, but they're just a band that does nothing for me.
What did someone say once? Like, if you've never heard a Grateful Dead song, don't worry, there's still one playing somewhere that started something like that, because they're so long. I think it's just me. I think I just have a short attention span when it comes to music. I'm just like, come on, change it up.
Don't bore us. Get us to the chorus.
That's how I feel. I know that's horrible, right?
I like 17-minute tracks, but they got to be. Never mind.
There's gonna be like ups and downs
off
and stuff. I just whatever. Okay. Yeah, I picked this one up at our local record store. I had to. I'm investigating more Roxy music and Bryan Ferry solo. I showed the box set a few streams. It's our first stream a few videos ago, but this is cool. It has that cool hype on there, promotional DJ copy, so that's kind of cool. Bryan Ferry's is this his first solo album?
I think so.
Another Time, Another Place. And it does have his really cool version of the In Crowd. I really like his version of.
I just think of the Bush where he was in.
Yeah.
He was in the Mighty Bush. I was raised by Bryan Ferry in the jungle.
Yeah. You plaster those sideburns on the side of your face. So, yeah, this is an upside down Atlantic record release. And it's funny because the sticker says it's a DJ promotional copy, but nowhere on the label of the record does it actually say that it's a promo. But whatever. I know white label promos really matter to some folks, but I don't know. It's a good record. I'll take it.
It's another fetishy thing. Ooh, a white label promo. But some people claim like, oh, it's the closest to like a first press will sound best because the first one's out of the press. I don't believe that.
Yeah. Chauncey said it took him years to get into the Dead. So
it'll take you years to get out.
And I like a couple of songs just because of their involvement with the show Freaks and Geeks. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that show out there. The main character on the show kind of gets into the Grateful Dead, and there's some poignant moments in the show where I think A Box of Rain and Ripple are played, and I don't mind those. They kind of make me think of the show. So.
It's like what one of our friends says, like if the Dead had, made Working Man's Dead, American Beauty, and then stopped, everybody would be happy. Fine, great band, because none of that other stuff that came later, Anyway, next up, That Old Goat showed this one recently, and I've known of this record for years. We had copies at our store, copies at friends' stores, and when I saw That Old Goat rave about it, I said, I should really check it out. And there's tons of copies on eBay. There's actually two different pressings of this. This is the Alan Bound from, I think this is from like 68 or 9, probably 68. The first pressing is on a label called Music Factory, which was an MGM subsidiary. This one's on Verve Forecast. Rather large band.
Oh, is that the whole band? I thought this
Yeah.
was like the band in the middle. Maybe this was like their family or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, that's
Okay.
They
Ooh.
duplicate the people on
Is
the
there
front.
horns? Are there horns in
Yeah,
this group?
yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like horn-led psychedelia. And what's interesting, the vocalist on this is Jess Roden, but then there's like, I believe I read, there's another later pressing of this where Robert Palmer joined the band and replaced all the vocals. And the other thing about this, I have a single from this because I recognize this song. I have a 45 of Toyland Back to a Storybook, but they do a version of Dylan's All Along the Watchtower, which I'm told might be the template for Jimi Hendrix's version. I don't know which one came first. It might be a coincidence. It just sounds like that. But I'm also seeing a song called Love is a Beautiful Thing, and I'm wondering if that's the Rascals song, since we just lost Dino Danelli.
Right.
No, I don't think so. That's different. I don't know the songwriting credits, but they do Dion's My Girl the Month of May. But yeah, the Alan Bound on Verve Forecast, I think it's around 68. It's supposed to be a very strong record.
And we go to estate sales a lot to just kind of look at stuff and, be nosy and walk through people's houses. But we went to an estate sale and they had a whole little pile of records off in the corner. And it was really kind of funny because it was all like super like gospel, very like straight religious records. And then in the middle of all that was a copy of Ray Charles.
It was a copy of
Red Fox's
You Gotta Wash Your Ass.
Yeah. And this. So of course, for $1, I said, I feel weird like I'm touching her chest while I'm doing this, but for $1, I said that I had all the Dolly that I needed with the latest records that I had got, but for $1 at this estate sale, I definitely picked up the best of Dolly Parton. It says poster included, but unfortunately the poster is not included. Someone must have hung it on their wall and never took it down and put it back in the record. But this is just an RCA Black Label best of, pretty standard, but I thought it was cute. So, you ever go to a garage sale or a yard sale and it's like you feel like you have to buy something? It just feels kind of awkward.
Yeah, you feel like, just walk.
And they're like, "Thank you for coming. Here's my $1." Yeah. So.
Thank you for.
Yeah, DJH says Nashville Teens version of All Along the Watchtower is good too.
Yep, I got that on CD.
He says every time I find Dolly Parton records, they always have 2 huge warps. Okay.
All right, this next one was an eBay purchase, a compilation. This is Welcome to the Beat Generation, a compilation of beatnik-related records from over the years. So, of course, it has Ed Kooky Burns on here, Mamie Van Doren, The Champs, Paul Revere and the Raiders on here for a very early track called Beatnik Sticks. I got this for, what did I get? Oh, there's a song on here, a track on here by a guy called Johnny Beeman called Laughin' Beatnik, which is a rare single on Amy, which goes for a lot of money. But I like this late 50s beatnik stuff. The whole beatnik culture is interesting. Like, we're currently watching Dobie Gillis before we go to bed at night. And, of course, Maynard G. Krebs is on there.
I would love the show so much more if it didn't have that stupid theme song. Oh, my God.
But we got to get we got to get the DVDs because we have to rip.
Fast forward.
We have to rip some of Maynard's dialogue because he's always like, "Let's go to the record store."
Yeah.
Like for our radio
the show's great, though. Minus the theme song.
Says it's on color vinyl. I haven't opened it up and played it yet. But I recognize some of these illustrations from a paperback book I have of a beatnik one-panel cartoon. So this will be a fun listen. Yeah, this will be a really cool. I forget. Yeah, this was on eBay. I had it on the watch list forever, and also I got a cheap offer, so I grabbed it. It's a gray area, not exactly legit compilation.
All right, check out the comments here. Dave says he found Alan Bound last year. They inspired Jimmy to do Hey Joe.
Hey Joe.
Hey Joe.
No, Hey Joe comes way before Alan Bound. I think,
really?
So. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys can work that out. Chauncey says, my sister does estate sales and very seldom finds any good records, mostly Percy Faith. Yeah, we see a lot of that. I think that the people, we always tell ourselves that the people that really are the really big record type people, or the local people who have to feed the record store, they're there at like
As soon as it
7 o'clock in the morning when the thing opens, and we're just not that motivated.
Yeah.
So, or at least I'm not. So we think all the good's probably gone by the time we get there. Hello, Randall Reaver is here. Hey, how you doing?
Welcome,
Thanks for
Randall.
stopping by. He says he's a big Beat Generation fan. So, and there's a cool Beat Generation box set.
Yeah, we had that. We had that at our store, a CD set, and one of the guys put it on top of the video rack, and this girl came in, and she said she needed it for school. She was doing a report, and she went to grab it, and when her hand went for it, she hit it, and it fell down behind the rack, and it wasn't there until we moved the building. I was like, I'm so sorry, but I can't move all this stuff to get to that box. She was like crestfallen, like,
oh, was she gonna buy it?
Yeah, she needed it for college because Kane College was nearby. I was like, hold on, let me help you. And she knocked it down behind the rack. I said, that's not coming out until we move this building. Sure enough, when we had to move to Kenilworth, it was back there. Dennis was like, hey.
Well, yeah. And
she almost cried.
Yeah.
I felt so bad.
I'd be upset myself. I'd be like,
and of course, Izzy was like, told him not to put stuff in.
Yeah, you have that cool that used to be up here, your Beat book or whatever.
I had to put it downstairs.
Yeah, but you have quite a few books about, the
beatnik
culture and stuff. It's kind of fun. But yeah, Dobie Gillis has been, I had never seen the show. I know that they used to do a lot of reruns on Nick at Night and stuff, but I never got into it.
It's much more sophisticated.
It is than your usual like Leave It to Beaver type show.
Leave It to Beaver has a little bit of an edge and is actually funny. It's stuff like Father Knows Best that's really
yeah. So, I got this one on a Whatnot stream for very cheap. David Johansen. I like the New York Dolls, and I thought I'd check and see if his solo work is of any interest. I know he's not Buster Poindexter, so I can say that much. I haven't listened to it yet, but I did see he does a song called Here Comes the Night, and I thought it was like the Them song, Here Comes the Night. It's not. It's a different
I also
song.
noticed on there guitars by Blondie Chaplin, who was in the Beach Boys. There he is right there. Also, Ernie Brooks, who was in the Modern Lovers, is on there.
Oh, okay. So this could be a really good album.
I see the name Elliot Murphy. I know that's some kind of singer-songwriter.
That's a cool label, Blue Sky.
That was Johnny Winter's label, I think.
Oh.
The Ramones auditioned for Blue Sky, and they were like, no.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they had to go open up for Johnny Winter to audition, and did not go down well in front of that crowd.
This was enough for me to, give it a chance. I'll check it out.
I don't
report
know
back.
The only solo David Johansen knows because MTV always showed that video of him doing the Animals medley, where there was a guy in the audience mimicking Johansen's every stage move.
Oh, wow. I've seen him that many times. Chauncey says, best Dobie Gillis episode, the one with the giant chicken.
Yeah, we just watched that.
Did we?
Yeah.
I must have been asleep.
You fell asleep with me. They did the science experiment. They created the giant chicken. It was like a 50s sci-fi
we're gonna have to go
movie.
back and watch that
Mr. Gillis was a star. I love that guy who plays Mr. Gillis.
Randall Weaver says he's got David Johansen's first solo album. So is it good? Do you like it?
I'll have to show the picture of my friend Big Jeff hanging out with David Joe at the...
He seems like a cool guy. Like, I don't know Jeff's a cool guy, but I mean, David Johansen, I don't understand the Buster Poindexter thing, but we all try new things, I guess. So,
all right,
what do we got next?
These next few are from the record show. There was a dealer there who was a little strange. Of course, he was real strange.
You see the one that was like, "Hey, lady."
No.
Oh my
gosh. Talk to this guy. This guy, I go up and talk to him, and suddenly I realize he's missing an arm.
Well, that's not.
I know, but then he's like real soft spoken, and he's like, just take your time. No one's rushing. I'm like, okay, I don't give a shit. And then I'm looking through the records, and he's like, can I ask you a personal question? I'm like, I didn't really say yes or no. And then he started talking, but he was so soft I couldn't hear. He was asking about this mole I have here, which I've had since birth, and started talking about having some kind of cancer. He thought I had cancer. Everything. I'm like, here's your money. I'll go.
Yeah, it's bad enough. Like, you're self-conscious about different things about yourself, but for somebody to what's that?
I know, I'm not self-conscious about this. Story time. One time I'm driving along with my friend Martin Santiago, and I told him, I was thinking of getting this burnt off. And he's like, why? And I said, I don't know, it's ugly. And he sat there, and I could tell he was thinking. I said, go ahead, say it. Why don't you get your whole face burnt off? And he just cracked up.
Oh, I thought he was going to say something really profound. Like,
No.
it's a part of you.
No.
Yeah.
So from that table, I found George Martin and his orchestra play Help and other instrumental versions of Beatles songs. I have another George Martin orchestra record. Oh, I forgot what it's called, but it has a girl with like a violin with a Union Jack on it. It's England by George or son. It's up there somewhere. Of course, this is on United Artists stereo copy. What's interesting is it's mainly the songs from Help, but then I haven't played this yet. There's a song at the end called "Scrambled Egg," credited to Lennon and McCartney. I'm like, is
that Michelle?
Is that Yesterday?
Or Yesterday?
Yeah, and then there's another one credited. There's two songs credited to Lennon and McCartney. I don't know, called "Auntie Gin's Theme," and "That's a Nice Hat." But I'll show you. The United Stars label. Cool. That was sometime in the '90s. I became very attracted to United Artists graphics. I love their font and everything. I love buying things on United Artists. This is another thing about record collecting with when some guys, they do something called they run a label. They buy everything on that label, and it just you get attracted to the graphics by these record labels. So that was a pretty cheap, good score.
I can't imagine buying everything on a label. That would be a lot of records.
Our friend Rich does that, but that's with 45s, which is much easier to do.
Yeah, but it's still a lot of records. I've
seen guys at record shows with big binders with these printouts with every catalog number from Mercury Records in there, and they're looking to fill all those spots. That's a real sickness.
Well,
but it was, really, it's just
something somebody's really into.
Yeah, I know, but it struck me as a super.
It's kind
OCD.
of obsessive.
Very obsessive.
But I don't know. Maybe it's like anything else. Anything else you collect, like baseball cards, you got to have a certain, set of whatever year all the players were there. Let's see. Randall says that the David Johansen's first is good, so I'll check that out. And TJ just says Buster was hot.
Yeah,
I always think of The Office.
Yeah, Michael Scott.
Hot. Ding, ding, ding. The next few I'm going to show are records that I purchased, of course, but then after that is a major bulk section of all the same kind of records. So I'll try not to take up too much time. So I'll just do these first. We went to our local. I saw this and I had to get it. Again, not just because of Dolly, but I love this movie. Who doesn't love 9 to 5?
My nana loved that movie. My nana laughed. They really did it to him.
Oh, they did. They certainly did. I don't need the music from 9 to 5, but I mean, come on. I love soundtracks.
So do I.
It's just, I know you've got a lot of soundtracks. They're just fun to have. And I was surprised to see it there at our local record store. So I was like, I'll take it. It was the #1 movie in America when I was born.
Really?
It was. Yeah. You can look that up online. What's the #1 movie?
81?
It's the #1 movie in America when you were born.
Next up, this
Psycho's Platter says, I don't know if I had a chance, I would get every 45 that was on Apple and Sun labels. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. But big majors, you'll never do it in your lifetime.
I don't know, but there's somebody out there.
This next one came from the One Arm Dealer. I didn't know of its existence.
One Arm Dealer, that's such a cool name.
It's a really cool record. I like automotive stuff and old racing. This is a sound recording, Dan Gurney and his World of Racing. I haven't played it yet, so I'm assuming it's like narration and sounds. What's interesting is it's a very early mobile fidelity release. I hope it doesn't have a digital step in it. I know we shouldn't mock that. Those guys were really into that or passionate about that, but it was kind of, okay. This is from 1965, early mobile fidelity, like I said. So I assume it's like narration and sounds. It's going to be cool to hear. This album tells the story, narrated by Sandy Reed and Dan Zode comments. For you avid stereo hi-fi buffs, we've included tremendous sounds from the Times Grand Prix and the Motor Trend 500. So this is going to be really cool to listen to and wake Heidi up early on a Sunday morning with. So
that's what I want to hear.
I don't know when did mobile fidelity start? Early 60s? But yeah, this is 1965. Fidelity and Motion, which makes me wonder, is any other automotive stuff on Mobile Fidelity? So this was a really cool find. I didn't know of its existence. Dan Gurney was so popular at one time, they wanted him to run for president in '64, but he was too young. And he was kind of like, I'm a race car driver.
You'd be too young. You have to be like, what, 35 to be president?
He was like, I'm a race car driver.
Dabney Coleman, last seen on Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We should have watched that.
We have to add that to our list of stuff to just stream.
Along with the 7 million other things.
Yeah, right. But then there's times where we're like, what should we watch? I don't know. What do you want to watch? It's like dinner. What do you want to have? I don't know. What do you want to have?
What do I want to do tonight, Marty?
Chauncey says, I don't buy MoFi. Psycho Splatter says, go Speed Racer, go. As opposed to the incontinent auto chaser, Peed Racer.
That's clever.
That's awesome.
That's good. Yeah, we're not audiophiles, and sometimes I might even say
we can't afford to be audiophiles.
We're more music collectors than vinyl collectors. We're not all vinyl guys.
All vinyl all the time. But vinyl's cool.
Yeah, But anyway, next.
So Record Store Day. Or Black Friday Record Store Day. I guess we should be more specific. No matter what you feel about Record Store Day or not, I actually went into Record Store Day Black Friday Record Store Day thinking that there wasn't really anything that I really was like, I need that. I really want to get it. There was no kinks on the list except Dave Davis had a couple of things. But I thought, okay, I do, if I saw these two things, I would get them. And I was for sure that our local didn't have it because they usually, I don't know, they put out on their Facebook the day of a lot of the things they have, and they didn't have pictures of the things that I wanted to get. So I was kind of like, eh. So anyway, we went in and lo and behold, they did have the two things that I said I would get if I saw. So I got Jonathan Richman, Jonathan Sings. This is Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers, of course. Limited pressing on colored vinyl. So that's something to get excited about, right? So there's the little jacket. I got a little sleeve for this one. And it is on a kind of like creamsicle looking peach hat. Peach colored, kind of marbled peach vinyl. So yeah, I'm loving Jonathan Richman. I'm just starting to kind of like scratch the surface there. So I was happy to find that. Oh, Christian, hey.
Hey, Kristen.
Welcome. Thanks for stopping by, just joining in. He's in Upper Wisconsin for the holidays.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for coming in.
Menominee Falls. Menominee Falls. Yeah, we'll be posting this video for later.
It's gonna have to take a while to process because we're already at like 48 minutes. If you come in
late and missed anything, you can catch up later. This next one, when we went up to see this dealer in Onaway, I saw this record in his bins, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know there was ever an American pressing of that. And I already have the CD of it. It's a great record. But when we went to the record show in Bay City, he was there, and he saw me look at this again. He remembered me. He comes to the Traverse City record shows. He's like, oh, I'll give you a deal on that. So I said, I don't know. Why the hell not? And this is a record that Emma from 8 Vinyl Low would probably be into because she's into the guys that back him up on this. This is Otis Spann, the biggest thing since Colossus on Blue Horizon, distributed by Polydor in America. And this has as three of his backing, 3/5 of Fleetwood Mac on here. Peter Green's on guitar. Oh. Danny Kerwin's on guitar.
Wow.
John McVie is on bass. The only two missing are Jeremy Spencer and Mick Fleetwood. Otis's actual drummer, S.P. Leary, plays drums on here. Otis was a pianist who backed up Muddy Waters. Didn't make many of his own records. This is from 1969. Coolest song on here is Walkin', which sounds like the John Spencer Blues Explosion about 50 years earlier or more. On Blue Horizon label. So this was a really neat find. I didn't need it, but he gave me a deal, and I was like, I never knew there was an American pressing of this. So I grabbed it. Otis Spann, the biggest thing since Colossus. If you want to get the CD's out there really, really cheap, like $8 on Amazon.
Yeah, Randall, I thought the cover was a bit interesting. It's actually a painting. If you look close, it says cover painting by Billy Sullivan. I don't know who that is, but it must have been someone who, I don't know what the story is behind it. But the other Record Store Day, album that I picked up was Marshall Crenshaw.
Hey.
I had to love that, Marshall Crenshaw. And this was, I thought, kind of worth, really, new vinyl is so expensive. I'm just really cheap, I guess. But
it's expensive.
It's so expensive. But to me, I think this is worth it because you've got, 40th anniversary expanded edition. It's remastered, and it includes a bonus 7-song EP that includes 5 previously unreleased tracks with B-sides, alternate takes, home demos, and live recordings, including You're My Favorite Waste of Time. So it's the, wonderful, amazing classic album by Marshall Crenshaw, and then you get an EP, and I was expecting like a little, 7-inch, but it's, a whole big old record album. But it's on Yep Rock.
Yep Rock's an awesome label.
Which is a cool label. So, I mean, score all around with this one.
Our friend of ours, Kevin, the ex-UPS guy who's a musician up here, grew up with the Crenshaw brothers.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Heard these demos and stuff before Marshall was recording and knew these guys, which is great.
So I'm super, super happy to have this, and honestly really feel like it's worth the dollars when you're getting something like this. It's not just, the same thing you've heard and you're good with, but, they really did a really nice job on this. So thumbs up, Yep Rock.
Your RUI or ROI.
ROI.
Your ROI.
Return on investment. I don't know. Well, yeah.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yes. Those are things I've been hearing at work lately. Psycho says, very nice on the Otis. New vinyl is expensive. I probably only get about 2 new records a year on average. Yeah, it's pricey. It really is.
It has to be something I really, really want, and it has something I don't have. Like, you got me the 2 LP Odds and Sods, The Who, which I wanted because there was like a longer version of The Seeker and a cold ending on this song. But then when I listened to it, I'm like, that's really no big deal. But it's still a great thing to have. I have to have it because I love The Who.
And you're kind of feel a little bit of buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
You're like,
it's a great record, though.
Yeah, I mean, my mind just boggles when I look at some of the prices on these things, and it's just like, who is this money really going to? Do we know?
I mean, having been on the other side of the counter, I understand price margins
and
your overhead, but some of these things are just it's ridiculous.
But the advantage is CDs are really affordable.
Right. And
in my opinion.
As you can see, we have much more CDs, and we have to, because it's better for convenience sake, and also a lot of rare stuff gets reissued and much more affordable. And, having a radio show, this is much more convenient. We can't haul like 4 crates of albums down to the station when we only have 1 turntable per studio.
It's a little rough. Chauncey says, all the Black Friday record store day, I bought The Doors and Captain Beefheart. There was a Captain Beefheart?
Yeah, it was.
What it was. I remember The Doors.
I think it was a straight reissue of one of the records.
Yeah,
and The Doors was the Paris Blues thing.
Yeah.
So now what we got left is mainly all mine, right?
Yeah, so most of it is John's, but I'm gonna pop up and you'll see.
Oh yeah, you'll
see.
This came out of our local. Whenever we say local, I always think of a pub. Everybody says their pub is
our local.
I'm a fan of the late 60s British folk rock, Fairport Convention in particular. This band was an offshoot of Fairport Convention, as the Fairport's bass player left after the Legion Leaf album because he felt they were getting away from traditional British folk. Their first album, recorded in 1970, released in the UK in 1970, didn't come out in America to the mid-70s when Chrysalis got the rights to the album. This is Steel Eye Span with Hark the Village Wait. Now, what that means is, it sounds like a weird phrase, but a village wait was like a medieval job fair. Unskilled laborers and other folks would arrive at the village, and people who needed them would ask them. This band was put together by Ashley Hutchings, who was Fairport's first bass player. He was a much more solemn British folk guy. I bought this because on our radio station early one morning, I heard this song called The Blacksmith. And I said, oh, that sounds really nice. And I went to Spinatron. I'm like, oh, that's Steel Eye Span. I got to get some early Steel Eye Span because I don't have any. It was only $5. I haven't played it yet, but I will check it out. Band has an interesting story. Eventually, Ashley left his own band. They went through numerous lineup changes. actually, and ended up having some hits and became more of like a Jethro Tull type band in the 70s. They once they were recording a song for one of their albums, they needed ukulele, and they said, "Who the hell we know plays a ukulele?" And one of the band members piped up and said, "Peter Sellers plays it," and they got Peter Sellers to come down and play ukulele on their track. There's a picture somewhere of him in the studio acting like a guitar guy with ukulele. But yeah, this is on. Well, I'm probably going to find out that maybe there was a 1970 U.S. pressing of this, but I don't think there was. But yeah, and since Ashley Hutchings was very solemn, very traditional, one time the band behind his back recorded like a cappella British folk version of Buddy Holly's Rave On to tease him, but he actually enjoyed it, and they put it out, I think, on an EP or something. Wow. So this should be interesting.
Neat. Randall got the Thelonious Monk record on Black Friday Record Store Day. No, that's cool.
What's that?
When is regular Record Store Day?
You gotta
Isn't it like in March or April or something? I don't know.
I think it's April.
So you've heard me talk about Whatnot on our videos, if you've watched our videos, and I happened to stumble upon a stream, which is, they live stream and auction off records or whatever on Whatnot, but I was watching a record stream, and they had obtained somebody's collection of just amazingly good condition Disney children's records. And normally when you see kids records out in the wild, they're all like, Freddy Krueger got a hold of them and just because kids aren't really known for being real careful or nice with records. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But I believe they normally sell sports cards and stuff. This Gotham Thrift, I think, from New York City or Brooklyn, somewhere around there. They obtained this collection. And so very affordably, I got quite a few Disney records. And I'm no Disney like super freak about cartoons or Disney or whatever, but I love the illustrations from the older Disney cartoons. And so of course I had to get some of these, and of course I remember so many of the songs from seeing these when I was a kid. But the first one I'm going to show here is Alice in Wonderland, the songs from the motion picture. And it's just mind-blowing how nice and clean and just pristine these records are. They're beautiful.
When we get those in at the store, very rarely would they be in any good shape.
A little dusty, as you can see right now, because I haven't cleaned them. But there are no scratches on any of these that I'm going to show you. And I got quite a few, and some of them are French.
Oh, yeah, because they came from Quebec, right?
No, they were in New York.
But the French language ones were like Canadian press.
Oh, probably
Montreal or something.
But I just think it was cool to find these in such great shape. So I'll pop these in between on my turn, and you can see which ones I got. So
next up,
Dave says "Safe as Milk" is my go-to Beefheart album.
That's kind of mine too.
Yeah.
I like Safe as Milk, Strictly Personal. I mean, Beefheart's a hard listen. Everybody owns Trout Mask Replica, but not many own up to actually sit down and listen to it all the way through.
Really?
Lick My Decals is good. The two on Mercury are very un-Beefheart. They're more mainstream sounding. I have a great compilation of let me start that over. I have a great compilation of like the Strictly Personal demos before they were like treated with psychedelic phasing, called I May Be Hungry, but I Sure Ain't Weird, I think it is called, which is great. And I was looking at my Grow Fins box set earlier today before we came in here, which I kind of want to listen to.
Oh, Chauncey, yes. Francois Hardy.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. He says he's been getting into 60s French pop. So yeah.
There's a Francois Hardy record right opposite me here, leaning up against one record rack that we found at Goodwill years ago.
Great.
All right, next up, if you remember from one of our videos long ago, Heidi Lee got me the vinyl Country Joe and the Fish 1967 box set, which made me want to check out more Country Joe and the Fish. I've always known about the band from the Woodstock film, but I was never really into them. But for cheap, I picked up a copy of their third album. It's called Together on Vanguard. The most well-known song on here, at least to me, is it on here? Yeah, Rock and Soul Music, which they do in the Woodstock film. I'm not going to pull the record out because it's in that annoying Unipack cover. It's a pain in the ass to pull out. So I bought this for cheap to check it out. That's Country Joe McDonald there in this like silly wedding photo.
His actual wedding photos?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
But that's him there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The other song, the title's familiar to me, is Mojo Navigator, which was Greg Shaw's first fanzine. Yeah, I don't know much more about it, but yeah, so I want to check out some Country Joe and the Fish.
Lady and the Tramp. All the songs from the film. I had to get this one because it's got the Siamese cat song. That's just cool, right? Another thing from my childhood. But again, this is when I loved Disney. This is, I don't know, not to say anything super bad about the Disney stuff now. It's just, I prefer the classics. So.
This also came out of our local. We were in there, and it was one of those days where we just stopped things. We happened to be in the neighborhood, and having been a record store employee, I hate when people would walk in and look at everything and say thanks, and like she just said, thanks for what you bought. Not a museum, but I picked this up. This is a Cheap Trick. We're All Right Deluxe Edition. Picked it up because we remembered, hey, they do Blackberry Way by The Move because they're big Move fans. So this should be a good listen, featuring the single Long Time Coming and 3 additional songs. Still got to crack it open and listen to it, but we're getting to be, well, she's always been a Cheap Trick fan. I'm becoming a big one. It's so that should be fun. We got good reviews from friends about the latest Cheap Trick Whiskey 1977 box. It's very limited. There's only a few going around. It's limited to like 5,000, but it's supposed to be incredible because it's. But then Budokan happened, and they didn't use the Whiskey with Go-Go tapes.
Yeah, it just wasn't cool. Well, not that I was really concerned with being cool, but it just wasn't cool to like Cheap Trick. I think growing up, there's always, occasionally they weren't played on the radio as much as you would think they would be, but every time they were, like the DJ would have to like hype it, and be like, "Hometown Boys," blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, who cares?
I used to hear Dream Police.
I've changed my tune.
I used to hear Dream Police, Surrender, and I Want You to Want Me. All the time.
Mm-hmm. Randall says Shaggy Dog and even the better sequel to Shaggy DA. Yep, remember those? And the Computer Who Wore Tennis Shoes.
Yeah, I made you watch that.
Yep.
We still have a Disney Plus subscription because we wanted to watch Get Back, and I never canceled it. And every once in a while, on a lazy Sunday afternoon, I like to watch one of those Kurt Russell and Annette things. Of course, I love the theme song to The Monkey's Uncle. She don't like it.
No.
It's a great record, man.
No thanks.
She said
I'm
The
good.
Monkey's Uncle. Whoa.
I love the Muppets,
and the
though.
Monkey
And the Muppets. Disney acquired the Monkeys, the Muppets. And so that's cool to see that on Disney Plus. So that's one thing you could probably put out. You put Kermit the Frog on anything and I'll buy it. Dave says that Fish album is great. My second fave from them. Cool. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then Cinderella, of course. This one actually, this is the story and the song, so it's got like the storybook. Remember when you put the storybook record on and it would beep and you turn the page and look at all that cool illustration. I just think it's so cool. Not that I do not lightly do graphic design at my job, and I think it's cool what you can do on the computer and everything, but I mean, man, look at how people actually had to put pen and ink to paper and just draw all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And all the animation cells and everything that it took to make these is just, it's amazing. So Randall says check out the cover of Monkey's Uncle by the Fettertones here on YouTube.
I think I saw that. I might have seen that.
It sounds absolutely amazing. They play it live and it sounds perfect.
I think I may have seen it a couple years ago. All right.
I don't know, maybe that'll get me to like the song. But DJ H says book and record sets for how I learned to read. Yes, I had so many when I was little. I love them.
All right, I have another stack of 45s to go through, but we'll do them one at a time. First up, I love the Sundays label. Always have since they first came out. They're a lot different now than what they used to be since Bob Irwin sold it. But this is David Marks and the Marksmen David Marks was in the Beach Boys for the first 3 or 4 records. He was only about 14 when he was in the band. And of course, he butted heads with Murray Wilson, who didn't. And he took off, started his own band, David Marks and the Marksmen, who have one original single on A&M. I can't remember if they have any others, but this is on Sundays. The top side is an unreleased instrumental called "The Sheriff of Nottingham," which is also on one of the volumes of Sunday's Legends of Guitars albums. But the B side is "Custom Car Show," which is one of the A sides or B sides of their lone A&M single. There's rumors that Carl Wilson plays the lead guitar on "Custom Car Show," but I don't think it's been verified. But neat little record, and it's on like a gray marble kind of vinyl there.
Pretty. Hey, my brother's on here. Hello. Hey, Rob. How's it going?
Sorry about your cat.
Yeah, we've been thinking about you. Up next, Sleeping Beauty. This one's not as pretty as some of the other ones, but it's still in good shape. All the songs from the motion picture. I don't even remember. Oh, of course, Once Upon a Dream. Okay, I was like, what's the song from Sleeping Beauty? Oh, Rob's on lunch break. But again,
still working nights?
Like second shift.
Oh, that's better than overnight. Shit.
But again, these for kids records. Look at that, immaculate. Sorry, I'll hit you in the head with it.
Next up, I just played this tonight. I want to get it for a Christmas show. This is on Roulette from about 58 or 59. This is by Howard Morris. Who was Howard Morris? If you watch the Andy Griffith Show, he's Ernest T. Bass. And also, he was a very well-known comic, comedian, actor, writer, director. He was part of Sid Caesar's gang on Your Show of Shows. He was part of Sid Caesar's gang on Your Show of Shows with Carl Reiner, Mel Brooks. When you're done with us, go to YouTube.
Don't leave right now.
When you're done with us, stay on YouTube and look up the Uncle Goopy sketch where it's like a This Is Your Life parody. It's hysterical, but this is called Department Store Santa Claus. Now, the A side says Before Christmas, and some radio programmer wrote Notice. And then the other side says After Christmas. It's kind of basically the same song, but one side is these like the 50s juvenile delinquents and stuff asking for what they want for Christmas, and the B side complaining to him they didn't get their stuff. Where is it?
Is that what you were playing here earlier? Oh my gosh, that was annoying.
I was so stoked to find that Howard Morris made a record because really I love him. He's hysterical as Ernest T. Bass on Andy Griffith and on Your Show of Shows with Sid Caesar. He did a ton of Hanna-Barbera voices over the years, like on Magilla Gorilla and stuff. But I love weird, goofy, silly records like this. Me and my friend Richard Sabella live for this stuff. This is like 58, 59 going by the label. And I got to stop shaking things and make my point.
You're going to make everybody dizzy. Yeah.
Randall's probably like, what is that?
Mickey and the Beanstalk. I don't know any songs from this one, but this was a cartoon I just really remember a lot. Like those little memories that form in your brain when you're a kid. When the giant rolls Mickey, I think, up in the stuff, and he's like, smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember the My What a Happy Day song I told you.
Right.
I had it as my outgoing message on my answering machine years ago when you had cassettes. Yeah.
Chauncey says every cent of Roulette record sales went straight to the mob.
Yep. Morris Levy.
Tommy James, isn't that Tommy James book about that?
But they treated Tommy James well because he had hits, but they wanted to kill, I think, the guy who sang Honeycomb, Jimmy Rogers. That guy had to like flee the country or some shit.
Well, when we saw Tommy James, he said he was working on a movie.
Yeah,
they're going to make a movie or a TV
Broadway
series.
show about his book.
Yeah, you got excited about that, and then it doesn't happen. You're like,
Yeah. All right, this was my only Record Store Day Black Friday purchase. Because as you know, we're huge Kinks fans. This is the Dave Davis single of 21st Century Demo and Web of Time. The top side was written by Dave and Gary Goffin in a coffee shop in 1992, while Web of Time is a demo, I think, from the 70s and is on a CD of Dave's of demos called Decade, which we have to get. It's really gone down in price. Again, haven't opened it yet. We're kind of overwhelmed by all these purchases. It's not enough time in the week to listen to everything.
Yeah, and then at Christmas, Christmas time is coming. We'll have to do some kind of live stream.
Yeah, we'll do a live stream with what we bought for each other.
Are we gonna get each other books and records and stuff for Christmas? Maybe. This was like $1, so I got it. I've never seen it. It's called The Happiest Millionaire. George and the Happiest Millionaire, a magnificent full-color illustrated book and long-playing record on mono. It's from 1967, and it just... I can't resist these dang illustrations. I just think they're so cool. And
illustration is a lost art. That's why I like
the read-along books. So I mean, it's so cool. This is why I love vintage magazines and advertising, because it's an art.
I have had a self-titled CD by this band for years on the Total Energy label, and on 45 Cat I looked up to see if they had any singles, and they have one. And I was like, oh, I'll have to put that in my want list and maybe find it one day. We go to our local record shop. It turns up in the new arrivals in the 45s. These are a surf band called The Silencers, and it's called Spaceman versus Matt Helm.
Looks like someone just drew that with.
But what is interesting is that it says recorded March 25th, 95 in Michigan's mysterious Lower Peninsula, which is where we are.
We're so mysterious.
I was searching Matt Helm stuff on eBay, and this came up, and I said, oh, but then it turned up in our local record store. In fact, there's an insert in here advertising the CD that I have. But one side is a track called Spaceman. The other one is Matt Helm. So it's surf music. So this should be cool to listen to. Somehow they stuck 2 copies of the sleeve in here and the insert, so somebody put it together in the band's garage, messed up. Yeah, so that's cool. I want to know where they recorded this in town.
Yeah, I don't have any info on it. No, Rob, I didn't get Peter and the Wolf. Funnily enough, when that one came, he had a couple copies of it, but when Peter and the Wolf came up, it went for way more than I wanted to spend on a record of Peter and the Wolf. Up next, I've got... Oh my gosh, this is sealed. I haven't opened it. But it's the 101 Dalmatians in French. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if the songs are actually done in French or not, but it's kind of interesting. And I didn't realize it was sealed. That's cool. Evidently, it was originally $1.99 at some place called Ziller's. But whoever had this collection, I mean, there's way more stuff that went than what I got. I think I got, the cheaper stuff, but still, wow. It's in French.
This next one is from back in the day. I can't believe I just said
back in the day.
When Sundays was a really fun label. They still are, but this is when they're at the height of their garage rock reissues. This is a double EP of Saturday's Children, a Chicago area Illinois band who had 2 singles on Dunwich. This collects both of those singles with some unreleased tracks. Yeah, simple black vinyl with that old Sundays label.
Oh, that's cool.
They cover on here the Everly Brothers and Man with Money is one unreleased track. And it was really cool because there's 2 tracks they recorded for the Christmas season that never came out. An original called Christmas Sounds, and then like a version of Dave Brubeck's Take 5 called Deck 5. So it's like a little mashup of Take 5 and Deck the Halls.
Oh.
I forget. I know you're from Rockford, Illinois. These guys, I think mainly from Chicago. They don't mention some towns. Hammond, Illinois?
No
they
idea.
Mentioned, yeah. Mainly they were from Chicago. They don't mention any of the little towns.
Dave says, is that new?
No, this is from 1997.
Oh, okay.
This is from back in the day when Sundays was really fun label to deal with. Now they're reissuing things. I'm like,
Zellers was a Canadian department store. Well, that would make sense. Yeah, it's French.
It's interesting that Disney had this whole like French language division specifically for Quebec.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I remember in 1990 or 89 when Quebec wanted to like secede from Canada and be their own nation.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I don't know much about Canadian history, that's for sure. But just want a quick plug, like they really need it. But if you ever, when you're not watching our channel, you might be interested. We watch another channel a lot called Curiosity Incorporated. And this guy, he goes into, well, he buys from all different sources, but lately the ones we've been watching has been involving like a hoarded house situation. And he'll go into the house and like try to find all the things that are valuable, and then he puts them up for auction, and that's how he makes his living. But occasionally he does come across records, which is pretty cool. But he comes with vintage toys, all kinds of stuff. It's fascinating to watch. So Curiosity Incorporated made me think of it because he's in Alberta, Canada. Up next for me, I've got Lady and the Tramp. This is a story, one of the storybook ones. So oh my gosh, too cute, right? It's adorable. So that's mine. I'm trying to do these a little quicker. We're up on 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Hey, other people can go for 3.
I do want to say,
pick on each other.
Anybody, feel free to put, say hi in the chat if we haven't. This is a good way for us to like interact with you and everything. So if you haven't said hi, don't be shy to say hello. We're happy to see who's out there and kind of like interact and stuff. So this is a good opportunity for us.
Maybe when we do our cursus one, we'll download that StreamYard that people can click on and join us on camera and talk.
Chauncey says, instead of saying back in the day, I say I'm old.
Yeah. I remember when this was all orange groves.
We'll all get that. We'll all get old if we're lucky, right?
Next up, a great folk rock or country rock single from the Gosden Brothers. This is Love at First Sight. That's actually the B-side. The top side is a version of Bob Dylan's To Ramona that they had to really get them to record because they didn't really like it. I had recently got a CD with bonus tracks of their album, The Sounds of Goodbye, and I really liked the song. And for some reason, I just had an urge to own this on 45, and I found it on eBay for like $3 in postage. Somebody named June used to own it.
June,
so like I said, record. World Pacific is just an interesting label to me. Again, the graphics I go for. But yeah, Love at First Sight is a really, really nice song written by the Gosdens too.
It's like a textbook.
Produced by Jim Dixon, who also did The Birds.
I don't know if I want to show this, but it's so funny. This was another $1 one on the stream. Maybe this will motivate me to exercise more. Mousercise.
Yes, play that when you ride your new exercise.
Yeah. So excited about this one, but it's definitely 80s, definitely goofy. Goofy. That just came out that way.
What did you say the other day?
But it does come with the booklet.
What did you say the other day? What is the difference between Pluto and Goofy? They're both dogs.
I know people have said that before. Upright? Yeah.
That's an ongoing
What's
thing.
Up with that? Oh my gosh, look, it's got a little booklet with the lyrics and stuff. How
it's
cute
like
is that?
Bad guy? The bully, the prison guy?
Exercising? I don't know what character that is, but Pig Out. There's a song called Pig Out. That's like not very good for exercising, right? Pig out on vegetables. Whatever. Just something silly.
Next up, another interesting one. I think this is from 1967. This is Howlin' Wolf doing Pop It To Me. The flip side is I Had a Dream. This is like Chess Records' attempt at getting Howlin' Wolf to be like a bit, I don't know, kind of like Northern Soul. And it's this really cool, groovy R&B backing track, but then like Howlin' Wolf is on there, Pop It To Me. Arranged by Monk Higgins, supervised by Phil Chess. Yeah. I was just wondering, what was Howlin' Wolf doing in 1967?
Well, there you go.
The title, Pop It To Me, attracted me, and I found a cheap one on eBay. Not for 79 cents.
I was going to say, what's that price tag say?
It's Wolf, man. It's
DJH says, World Pacific was originally owned by Steve Allen.
Really?
Steve Allen? Like the guy from the host
I knew he owned
TV
Signature Records and maybe Hanover. I didn't know he owned World Pacific. I know, it was like all Pacific Jazz, World Pacific, and they melded together.
And Chauncey says, Pluto was the best Disney dog. Yes, he was. Okay, this is really cheesy. Rob was saying that was cheesy. Yes, that was cheesy. This is extra cheesy.
I remember that as a kid.
The Mickey Mouse Club from the early 80s. Yeah, I wasn't, this is from 1987? No, this seems earlier than that. But it does have that girl from The Facts of Life, I think, in this cast.
Lisa
Whittle, whatever her name is. Yeah, there she is at the top there. Blair. Yeah, just total cheese. The poster. No, I didn't get the poster with it, but it was like 50 cents. So
this next one, we just lost this guy, one of the last of the original 50s rockers, and my friend Bill Luther made me aware of the existence of this record. I think I'm going to show the B-side. This is the song he told me about. He goes, I can't believe this fits in at a mod DJ night. This is Jerry Lee Lewis on Smash, Shotgun Man, which is the track he says fits in on any mod night. The other side is The Killer doing Turn On Your Love Light. I think this is from about 66, 67. It's on his record called Soul My Way, the album, which the album name Soul My Way, when you hear it in the Killer's voice, sounds more like a command. Soul My Way. But really great record by Jerry Lee, man. And has a rhythm, like my friend Bill said, fits really in on a good mod DJ night. So check that out when you can. It's that period before he went full country and was still doing rock in the 60s. A lot of hidden gems.
I was excited to find this because my favorite Disney movie of all time is Robin Hood, with the fox as, Robin. But this is Louis Prima doing Robin Hood.
Oh yeah.
And it was just it's a strange listen. All I have to say, it's kind of a strange listen.
So it's not the original film recording.
I do, that fox is so freaking cute. Yeah, I didn't score the original one. That one, when they had a copy of the original motion picture soundtrack to Robin Hood, and that went way up. So it was not to be for me. I got Louis Prima instead. This next one was a birthday present from my friend Ruru. Long story about how he got that nickname. Richard Sabella is his real name. I had this on my 45 cat want list, the American pressing, but he got me a German pressing. But the thing is, the B-side of this, I wanted it for the B-side, but I'm mistaken because a long time ago I downloaded from a blog a comp called Psychedelic Head Swirlers Volume 1, and this track was on there. But I learned later that all the tracks are misnamed. So the song I was really enjoying was not the B-side of this single, but the top side of the single is still really good. This is Crazy Elephant with There's a Better Day A-Comin', Na 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 Na. This is a German pressing on Bell that Rich found for me. It's a really good slice of bubblegum rock. The flip side is a thing called Space Boogie, which I thought was going to be this groovy instrumental that I heard on this download, which actually sounds like part of a backing track that wasn't finished. So that's what these bubblegum guys did. Cats and Richie Cordell. They put something like that on the flip side so the A side would get more attention. This was a surprisingly cool little bubblegum single. I hope to spin on the show soon. It's a picture sleeve. And a picture sleeve. Ooh. Came out of Germany. I wonder how much chart action Crazy Elephant saw in Germany. So it's my second to last record in my pile here. In getting all these Disney records, it made me think about the Disney that really, I don't want to say affected, but stuff that I really remember from my childhood. And there was a cartoon, musical cartoon short that I used to see on the Disney Channel growing up that was called Johnny Fedora and Alice Bluebonnet. And I believe the Andrews sisters sang it. It was a group of women that sang it. And I found this record called Silly Symphonies. This wasn't on Whatnot. I found it somewhere else because I was looking for the song that goes with this cartoon. And what to my disappointment when I got this record and discovered that it's sung by Ali Rubel and Ray Gilbert, and they make it sound like the worst rendition of a song that you would do in choir in school. And it's just if you remember those two characters on SNL that Will Ferrell and I think it was Anna Gasteyer used to do, it reminded me of something like that. So it was kind of a bummer, but evidently there is a 45 of the song, the Johnny Fedora and Alice Bluebonnet song out there somewhere. I saw it on Discogs. The person said it was for sale, but then in the description it says not record shown. And I was like, well, what do they mean? They didn't show the record? So I messaged the guy and he's like, No, it's the song about an elephant. And I'm like, well, why do you have the picture of this people?
Stick with eBay. All right, next up.
Oh, DJ Dave says Howlin' Wolf was chillin' in the 60s. And DJ H Record Hound says Crazy Elephant's biggest hit was Gimme Gimme Good Lovin'.
Yeah,
I like that song.
I have that. That was one of Lou Reed's favorite songs.
Oh, really?
It was on the jukebox at Max's Kansas City, and he would always put it on.
That is a good song.
Next.
Oh, hello, Oliver decided to make an appearance.
Our cat. Next up for me, another goofy 45. I just got this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with he's a break-in artist known for the record Flying Saucer in the late 50s, Dickie Goodman. This is from the mid-60s. This is Showmanza by Dickie Goodman, like a Bonanza break-in record. I am a unashamed Bonanza fan. That's one of my favorite shows. If you're not familiar with break-in records, what they do is they tell a story and all the characters' questions are answered by a popular record of the day, which you couldn't do now because of rights reasons. And just another one of those silly, goofy, weird records I like to collect. This came out in 65 or 66 because they have bits of the Kingsmen's Jolly Green Giant, the Shangri-Las, Give 'Em a Great Big Kiss, things like that. Just
they're so corny.
Weird record. And they sent me eBay seller sent me a free record, I guess, as extra packing. It's totally trash, but it's Fats Domino when my Dreamboat comes home. I mean, it looks like it's been run under a lawnmower.
Dave says I had the Elephant's Memory album.
Elephants, or Crazy Elephant.
Crazy Elephant.
That's Crazy Elephant.
Yeah.
Sure. Elephant's Memory is the guys that backed up Lennon and Oko.
Bye, Rob. Have fun at work. Thanks for... Oliver says bye. And DJ says I'm an unashamed Dickie Goodman fan.
Oh, yeah.
Last for me, since I did say I love Robin Hood, I did find this for $1 because it's in French. But this is the Robin Hood soundtrack in French. They're just so cute. Look at
I always
them.
like King John.
They're
He's
so
kind
adorable.
of dopey and his crown keeps falling on his head.
That's such a good movie. That's my favorite of all the Disney movies. So that's all for me. I could just sit back now and
you
watch.
can monitor the comments.
I'll monitor the chat, and you have to like flip through those CDs pretty fast, though.
Next up, this is the newest release from a current surf band, an all-girl surf band called the Surfragettes. This is on High Tide Recordings out of Freehold, New Jersey. It's their Christmas single. Side A is Marshmallow March, while the B-side is an instrumental version of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas, which I would much rather listen to.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm not a fan of the song, but
cool Christmassy green vinyl. It's coming up blue on
the
the screen.
Yeah, it looks turquoise on the screen.
But it's seafoam green, kind of Christmassy there.
It's Kermit green.
They're an all-girl surf band, a lot of fun. Their new album's called Roller Rink. Check that out. There's a girl named Shermie in here. I was thinking of contacting them, but I don't know. They're getting kind of big because they have management.
They might do a bumper for our show.
Yeah, they asked them to do a bumper for our show. Next up, another goofy, weird Christmas records.
Oh, DJ H loves Surfragettes too.
Oh, cool.
They are cool.
These are, you know of the Goons, the British comedy team. This is a U.S. pressing of their single I'm Walking Backwards for Christmas from 1958 on London. Very strange record. I don't know how they would think this record would fly in America. It's very surreal, bizarre, kind of like Spike Milligan's Brain. This makes no sense. The other side is Blue Bottle Blues, but just weird and goofy enough for me to really like it and torture our listeners with. This one I've had on my want list on 45 Cat for a long time because I was just, I'll go to a certain label and go through the years and find obscure things. This was first released on some small label and picked up by Mercury. I think this is from 69. This is Willie Hobbs and the Dirty Four, or the Dirty Four, doing a bit of a soul R&B version of Them's Gloria with a cool backbeat. The flip side is an instrumental called On the Move, which is kind of unremarkable. But this is a neat little find to cover Gloria in 69 as a soul R&B song. Really cool to have in my $45. And I got some LPs. Oh, getting old, gonna stretch.
Stretch, lift.
I found this guy on YouTube, and also he's being distributed, I think, through High Tide Records. Very much in the Chet Atkins mold. This is Joel Patterson with Hi-Fi Christmas on Ventrella. Christmas tunes, guitar style, like I just said, very much in the Chet Atkins style. He's got clips on YouTube of himself playing this. I wonder if he's friends with Deke Dickerson because of the vintage guitar thing. And this comes on translucent green vinyl. I haven't opened it yet. I meant to play it while I was wrapping presents, but I was wrapping presents in the basement where there's not a turntable. Might spin it this weekend. Does all the usual things you expect: Jingle Bell Rock, Blue Christmas, Jingle Bells, that damn Hawaiian song that Bing Crosby sings.
I like
Bells,
that song, Melekaliki
Winter
Maka.
Wonderland, Rock Around the Christmas Tree. Really cool. I haven't seen if he has any other records, but I'd like to check him out more.
We're actually on Friday.
Yeah.
So is that Christmas Eve?
No, Christmas Eve is Saturday.
Okay.
I already got a ton.
We're on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. I'm not gonna play a lot of Christmas music, but I'm gonna sprinkle through. I don't want to overdo it. And hey you,
Hey,
Oliver, not a scratching post. Next up, we were in there's a local used bookstore called the Blue Vase Book Exchange, and our local record store is putting their cheap records in there. Cut it out, Oliver. And they put stuff in there sometimes that's really good. It should be more than $1 sometimes, but mainly got this for the cover artwork. But we're big fans of 60s spy stuff. Here's the Thunderball soundtrack from '65. I passed up a cheap copy at Electric Kitsch, and I was like, oh, I should have grabbed that. But then I found one for $1 at Blue Vase Book Exchange. Still, I haven't watched this movie in years. I know one of my friends says the underwater sequences are kind of slow nowadays. People have no patience to sit through a good movie anymore. But yeah, that's from '65.
Oh, those kids.
Youths. Got this. This was kind of purchased by accident. I've been looking for this album for
really?
years. Yeah, it was.
He does that a lot. He says he accidentally.
The eBay
buys
website does
eBay.
this to me.
Like,
I'll go to hit add to watch list, and I click it, and all of a sudden the page I don't notice maybe the page isn't completely loading, and it turns out I've hit buy it now, or sell them in my shopping cart.
Mm-hmm.
But I've wanted this record for years. I haven't played it. I know musically it's not going to be so great because it's studio guys. But this was actually the cheapest copy on eBay. These are the Hornets with Big Drag Boats USA on Liberty's Action Series.
Is that one of the, Captain Scarlet or something?
No.
Is that a person in there?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, they're racing. Cool photos on the river or lake or part of the ocean in Long Beach where they used to do drag boat races. Original Liberty inner sleeve, which I always like perusing back. Liberty's another one I really like their graphics. It's on that rainbow label. This is the Wrecking Crew, probably led by Jerry Cole, the session guitarist. Let me check the songwriting credits. I bet his name. Yeah, writers Jerry Cole and Glenn Cass. So this could be a fun record. It might have some gems on it. There's another record on Liberty by the Hornets called Motorcycles USA, which actually had a single taken from it called On the Track. Yeah, but, they were trying to put out product that on every teenage fad at the time. I guess they tried to hit drag boats.
Oh, hey.
All right. DCLP.
Okay.
Hang on, I gotta get this back in.
So you don't want someone being, well, he didn't do that for me.
All right, next up. Recently, I had the pleasure of meeting up with the mayor of the vinyl community, Steve Carlson. We were supposed to meet, the three of us, at the Bay City Record Show, and but he went earlier than us, and we got there late because we had to drive from Traverse City down to Bay City. He went to see some alpacas after the show. But
I like alpacas.
He was up here for business, for what he does with his job. And he wanted to meet up, and we met up at the local record store and went out to dinner. Great time, hell of a nice guy. I hope we get to hang out again when he comes up here, or if we get down to Bay City, his area. But we gave him some VCLT. We gifted him a copy of the Kinks Village Green Preservation Society. And iPad just pointed out this record in the store. I said, oh, yeah, that's a crazy record. I think he asked, what is that? He was at the right front. I said, oh, yeah, I've been meaning to buy that for a while. It's a crazy nick. But this is a reissue of their second album, The Gods with a Z, Gods 2, originally out on ESP disc. This is a reissue on Get Back from 1998. Now, The Gods They were guys that before they went into the studio, they probably learned their instruments about 10 minutes before going in.
Mhm.
And it's wonderfully inept rock and roll. That's what makes it so great. Lester Bangs was a huge fan of these guys. I used to have their fourth album, Gesundheit, on CD, which had a really lopsided cover of Jumpin' Jack Flash on it. But you probably know the Get Back label. It's out of Italy, so it's um, a bit quasi legit. Um, there was a song I hear our friend Alex played on his show on WMFO. Can't remember which one it was. I think it was Soon the Moon. And I was like, wow, that's really crazy. Some CDs are out there affordable, but it was really nice of Steve to VCLT this to me. It was like really, really cool of him to do that. And then, we gifted him a copy of Village Green Preservation Society because we're always trying to turn people on to that album and the Kinks in general. And then while I was in there, we were talking about going to dinner, and I was like, I had change for the meter coins. I was like, shit, I got no singles to tip the waitress. So instead of doing like a normal person and taking the 10 spot out of my wallet and going to the guy at the register, hey, can you break this? I bought a record instead, a cheap record instead to bust it to get some singles. I didn't need this, but surprisingly, I have never owned an original U.S. copy of this album by my favorite band, The Who. So I bought a cheap U.S. copy of The Who Sell Out on Decca just to break money to make change to tip a waitress. It was only $5. It's not in great shape, but now I got a U.S. copy. What the hell? Why not?
Dave says the Gods were also a regional Ohio band.
He might be thinking of the heavy metal Gods. There's another Gods with a Z that were in the 70s. These guys were from 1966 onward. Gesundheit was their last album around 71 or 2. Yeah, you're probably thinking of the other Gods. They got an album cover, I think, where they're all on motorbikes. They spell it with a Z also. It's unrelated. Now, this record I bought on eBay, and the U.S. Postal Service sent it all over the country.
Yeah, I was so like watching it, the drama of where it was at every day.
Started on Long Island, went to a generic spot in New York City, then for some reason went all the way to Georgia to some island town, then to Tennessee, and then it made it to like Jersey City, made it to Grand Rapids, and decided to go all the way back east, down south, then come all the way back up. And was it worth it to get a cheap Mongo Santa Maria record? Yeah, kinda. His late 60s records on Columbia are fun because he does all kinds of cover versions. He does Spinning Wheel, Proud Mary, Get Back, 25 Miles, Ain't That Peculiar. We Got Latin Souls, like an original, which is a lot of fun, which has the secretaries from the Columbia Studios on it hollering. I like this kind of kitschy stuff, as you can see by that Joe Pass record I got. There's another one I want to get called Mongo 70, which is a real colorful cover. I have his album on, I think it's on Atlantic, not Columbia, called Feeling All Right, where he does like Inagata de Vida and other things like that, and Sunshine of Your Love. I got that years ago. And fun Latin percussion. Check out some of his records. Now, I mentioned Steel Eye Span earlier, and I said I heard that song, The Blacksmith, on our radio station. And when I went to do some reading about Steel Eye Span, I learned that they re-recorded The Blacksmith for their second album with more perculative percussion. So I was like, shit, now I got to get the second album. So in our local, cheaply, I was able to get Pleased to See the King by Steel Eye Span. And this is their second album, and did get released in America at the same time as it did in the UK on Big Tree. So this should be good to see which version of The Blacksmith is the one I want. And it has all these songs, The Lark in the Morning, which all the British folk bands seem to have done, and things with titles that are old British folk songs, like Cold, Haily, Windy Night, and there's some jigs and Prince Charlie Stewart. So the lead vocalist, Matty Pryor, really has a really nice, wonderful voice, almost the equal of Sandy Denny, but that's the back there.
The songs, they'll melt your face.
Yeah. When Bernard on Black Books gets drunk and starts talking to the little kid about Ireland. The songs, Jim, the songs, they'll melt your face.
They'll melt your face.
I have a cow. He lives in the tree. And again, I like 60s movies, groovy 60s soundtracks. I got a cheap DVD of this a few years ago. and it should be fun. This is a soundtrack to the Natalie Wood film Penelope. This is on MGM from 1966. Bit of a strange, I don't know if you
Have
call
you
it.
ever seen it?
Yeah, I have the DVD. I made you
Oh.
watch it that time. Jonathan Winters has a brief part in
Leave
it.
an impression.
Dick Shawn is her psychiatrist. She's like, she's a rich girl who steals, and I don't know, they try to help her or something.
Okay.
But black MGM 60s label.
Oh.
Music by Johnny Williams before he became John Williams that did Star Wars.
Kelly E says, "Hi guys, just wanted to say I'm digging the show from just
Kelly
a couple hours south of you in Hart. Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, Hart.
Hi.
You know Hart.
That's awesome.
We've been down that way.
Hello. Chauncey says, Big Tree is one of my favorite labels, Lobo and Brownsville Station.
And the Sugar Bears.
Cool.
And I have a single, I think, on Big Tree by a band called Catfish doing an interesting version of Dear Prudence. Oh, and that kind of reggae duo, Dave and Amsel Collins, that do the thing with the gun. I forgot what it's called. Something Shoot. I have the whole album. Oh, crap. I can't remember it. I know the song, too. I'm just...
Somebody will know. Somebody in
brain
the chat.
Double shot. Double shot.
Double shot.
Now, I used to see years ago in Goldmine, remember reading Goldmine, look for records and perusing the small print ads and always seeing albums on this label. Some guy always had them really expensive. I think, though, he had sealed ones. And this is kind of like all these Disney records Heidi just showed. Usually you see children's records and they've been trashed. And so if you do find them in good shape, they can be real expensive, especially on this label. But I was shocked to find this for $2. On the Hanna-Barbera label, Johnny Quest tells the story of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This may be Canadian if I looked on Discogs. Well, it's a promo on a pink label. Usually it's blue.
You were so excited when you found that.
Yeah. Well, I recently got a 45 of Shorty Rogers doing the theme, but it doesn't sound exactly like the song you hear on TV. And I was kind of disappointed that the Johnny Quest song on here is not what you hear on the TV show either, but it is by Hoyt Curtin, who did the music. Also, what is interesting...
Tim Matheson?
Yep, I was just going to say,
sorry.
Tim Matheson does Johnny Quest's voice. Tim Matheson was a new friend of Beaver Cleaver in the last season of Beaver.
Yeah.
But, Hanna-Barbera Records, there's Yogi with Hanna and Barbera signing his recording contract, I guess. Advertisements for the
Don't
others.
sign it, Yogi. He'll take you to town.
Yeah, Johnny Quest, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea story record. Pretty cool record.
DJ H says a double barrel.
Double barrel.
Yeah.
That's what
Chauncey says, I have the Johnny Quest complete on Blu-ray. Cool. And DJ H says, HBR was only around a few years, 1966-ish.
Yeah. The 13th floor elevators were on there.
They were on Hanna-Barbera?
You're Gonna Miss Me was on Hanna-Barbera for a brief time.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting songs on there. All right, now I got CDs.
You're going to flip through the...
I still got a lot of CDs. We'll try to get
Hand them to me and I'll make a stack.
Yeah, well, I got to keep them in order because I'm going to listen to them.
Oh, wow.
I'll take care of it. This is the latest entry in Ace Records' Girls with Guitar series. This is Girls with Guitars, Gonna Shake.
I was just going to try to get it out of the light for you.
Great comp of guitar, all-girl garage bands. Probably the most well-known track on there is a band called the Bells, Belles, doing Melvin, which is Them's Gloria, but done from about a male called Melvin. Some other great things on here. Goldie and the Gingerbreads, Debutantes, the Beat Shake, some British stuff on here. A lot of cool stuff. I think Heidi got this for me on Whatnot.
Yeah, it was a Whatnot stream.
This is a new version of the Beatles Ones, which comes with a Blu-ray with promo videos of all the songs and singles, which should be interesting to watch. I think some of it has to be newly created. I don't think there's promos for every song. My friend Robert out in Marin County, California, sent me some free CDs because he upgraded. Bob Dylan's New Morning. I'm not a big Bob Dylan fan.
I can take it.
Like him, appreciate him, but he's one of those artists where
I like him more as a songwriter.
Yeah, as a person. And I kind of like his songs when other people do them for some reason. But I like some Dylan. And he also sent me the Dukes of Stratosphere. What is this thing called? Chips from the Chocolate Fireball anthology. He sent me because he got a better version of it. Oh, and Electric Kitsch. They had great prices on used CDs. And it's weird because the leader of this band just passed away today or yesterday.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Kim Simmons of Savoy Brown just passed away. This is their 1970 album, Looking In. They were down to a quartet. And then after this record, I think the rest of the band split and became Foghat, and Kim Simmons was the only constant in the whole band. But yeah, this was like really cheap. I have some Savoy Brown records from before Looking In. I've read this as being described as it sounded like what the Yardbirds should have sounded like if they were around in 1970. And I was really happy to find this on Sundays, the mono mix of Blue Cheer's debut Vinspis Eruptum. And I was also stoked to open it up and see that the liner notes are done by a longtime online friend of mine named Doug Shepard. In fact, when I saw it, I exclaimed that in the store, and they asked me to leave. So
they're just like, what?
I know him.
Santa's coming.
Another stack. More surf music. The latest and probably last one from Satan's Pilgrims out of Portland, Oregon, because guitarist leader Dave Pilgrim passed away recently. This is their latest record called Go Action, also on High Tide Recordings. Great surf biker fuzz themed instrumentals. Really great stuff. I guess if this is on vinyl, I think it's on vinyl too, and it'll probably look really cool with that 60s biker soundtrack look to it. I always buy some current surf music from Double Crown Records. And these next two I got from there, just as kind of a put out by the band themselves. I thought it looked interesting. It's pretty good. These are the Dirty Licks with dusty boots and snakeskin suits. Bit of a spaghetti western theme there. Interesting song titles like Sonic the Wave Hog, Go-Kart Death Race. You'll see in the back there they got like that man with no name look. I always buy my new surf from them guys. I think these guys are French. This is Les Robots with 12 Favorites from Planet Earth. Kind of has a Joe Meek kind of sound to it, a really weird organ sound. To be honest with you, it kind of sounds like fart sounds in a way. But the thing is, they cover a lot of British Invasion songs instrumentally. So they're doing the Hollies' I'm Alive, the Sorrows' You Got What I Want, American Garage Band, the Zachary Thax, Bad Girl, the Kinks, I Need You, the Beatles, Don't Bother Me, the Remains, Why Do I Cry, and a cool medley of the Zombies, She's Not There, with that old song, Suspicion.
I love that song.
Yeah, who did that? Terry Stafford did that first, but Elvis Presley did it on one of his records. And of course, we love Vivian Stanley's
version. That's the one I was thinking of.
This is some 90s garage, a German band, the Satelliters. Wild Nights of Action. I can't say I like this one as much as their later records, as the vocalist is trying too hard to maybe sound like Sky Saxon. But there's still a few good tracks in here, mainly all originals. Any covers or obscure garage things. Went over to Bomp Records. I buy from them sometimes. They have their $5 section, which is really good. I saw the reissue LP of this in our local, but it was way too much money. Like Heidi was saying about new vinyl, I was like, I'm not paying $37 for this, but this is some unreleased late 60s US heavy psych, like in a Blue Cheer vein. This is a band called Stone Garden. It's on Gear Fab Records. I haven't cracked it open yet, so I don't know the backstory of the band. I can't wait to listen to it because all I'm reading online is that it's the equal Blue Cheer and really great. This is an original of this. Probably Dylan and Noble Records would love to have. These were a South African band who were kind of in trouble for their music and the wild stage shows. This band is called Suck. It came out on EMI Parlophone in South Africa. This album's called Time to Suck. Mainly cover versions. Has one of the earliest covers of Black Sabbath. They do War Pigs on here. But they also do Deep Purple's Into the Fire, Freeze, I'll Be Creepin', King Crimson's 20th Century Schizoid Man. They do Elegy by Coliseum, so this should be interesting to hear. I think I have a CDR of this somewhere downstairs that I downloaded years ago. This next one, I'm a big fan. I'm from the East Coast. I listen to WFMU a lot. I love Michael Shelley's show on Saturday morning. Sadly, I don't listen to it as much as I want, but a couple weeks ago, all I had to do was listen for like 10 minutes and hear something that I was like, I need that record. I don't know if you guys know a British musician artist named Mickey Jupp. think he wrote songs for Nick Lowe. He was part of that scene. Has some of his own records like Japanese, but he was in this band called Legend first. I think there's 2 records they did, but Michael played this song called Checkbook, which is really cool. And this is produced by Tony Visconti. Kind of glam, kind of just British hard rock. Can't wait to hear what the rest of this record sounds like.
Chauncey says that's one of the best album titles ever. Time to Suck.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's like that.
A lot of bands could probably have that as their album title.
Well, it's like that.
Without meaning to.
It's like that Kim Fowley album I have called "I'm Bad." Like never before has a record been so accurately described by its title.
I'm bad. Yes, you are.
Since we're community DJs, and I've always had an interest in radio, I love reading about old DJs, and I love when they made their own records. I just finished reading the memoir of DJ Dave Hull, the Hullabalooer, who was on some stations in the late 60s. He was on KRLA in Los Angeles back then. And he was on an episode of the Monkees as I think the band contest. He's on that episode, Your Friendly Neighborhood Kidnappers. But anyway, he made a record of his own, or not of his own, but he had these kids who were his fans that made a record as the Scuzzies. And it was called Dave Hull, the Hullabalooer. And this is like not a CDR. Yeah, it's a CDR of some air checks and that 45. There's like 2 versions of the 45 or something. But it was like a bunch of kids that were fans of him. So they made a record called Dave Hull, the Hullabalooer. And yeah, and there's just air checks of like other guys on KRLA introducing the song. Next up, I had to get this. I have some of their early albums. I never had their big hit album. This is an expanded version of Mott the Hooples, All the Young Dudes. One of my listeners, who's an older gentleman that I worked with at a local boat dealer for a while, sometimes calls me up on Friday night he says, "Hey, Mott the Hoople, remember Mott the Hoople?" So I grabbed this really cheap, interested in the bonus cuts, and they do Sweet Jane on here, so that should be cool. I got to grab my next stack of CDs. Please bear with. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read the comments till Heidi Lee comes back. We're almost done. Next up, for my birthday, Heidi had got me the first Devo album on CD. I've always liked the song Uncontrollable Urge, but I first heard it by the great 90s Bay Area garage band, The Mummies, if you ever seen those guys. But then I heard the original version in this Netflix show called The Chair. I was like, okay, yeah, that's the song The Mummies did. And of course, this has their crazy, weird version of I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Next up, I think it was a couple Christmases ago, Heidi had got me a comp of Jack Nietzsche Productions, and it had one of his much later productions arrangements from I guess it's from 2004 by this guy. This is C.C. Adcock, and the track Jack Nietzsche was involved in was called Stealing All Day. So I said, I really want to check out more of this guy, and it's on Yep Rock. I said, I should be able to find it. I go on eBay and Amazon. It's out of print. Crazy Amazon prices. We go to our local library a few weeks ago to their media sale. $1. Really great swamp rock from C.D. Adcock. This band, I really love a current garage band. They've been around for years now, though. They're out of Atlanta, Georgia or Alabama. The Woggles. And their lead singer, the Mighty Manfred, who you may have heard on Little Steven's show, now has a side project, which is more of a soul band, called The Magnificent. The album's called Monolithic. I forget who the other guys' bands are. Not really my thing. Couple of good songs. Got to listen to it some more, see if it grows on me. One more stack of CDs, and then I want to talk about something else.
Kelly says, "Nice, love Devo."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
DJ H says, "Uncontrollable Urge is the B-side of the 45 edit of I Can't Get No Satisfaction. My copy is gray splash vinyl." Cool.
This I bought. I didn't know why I didn't buy this when it came out. I wasn't interested in hearing current bands doing songs by our favorite artist. But then I was reading about the 90s alternative band Cracker, who were a spinoff of Camper Van Beethoven. Yeah. I love their first album. That song Teen Angst is one of my favorite songs ever.
Take the
and I was just digging it. And I saw that they covered the Kinks' Victoria somewhere, and it turned out it was on this tribute CD. So I got a cheap copy of this. This is Where I Belong, the songs of Ray Davis and the Kinks. But then, and it has Jonathan Richman, Fountains of Wayne, and I look on here, and I see um, Josh Rose is doing A Well-Respected Man. I know that artist, and much to my surprise, I knew he worked with him. I flip it open. My old grammar school classmate Mark Basapia plays drums on Josh Rose's
Oh, no
cover
way.
of A Well-Respected Man. I was like, wow, my old friend Mark is on this. This
That's
is so
cool.
cool. And Ray himself is on here with Damon Albarn from Blur doing Waterloo Sunset. Did you want to look at this?
Yes, I did. I didn't know you got this.
Yeah, I thought you were replaying it.
No.
This is on my Amazon wish list for a long time, but I also saw it on. No, I didn't have this on my Amazon. I had this on my eBay watch list for a long time. Gesundheit.
Oh, excuse me.
On the records, really?
Yeah, I just blew all over the records.
This was on my Amazon wish. Let me start that over. My eBay watch list for a long time, and I said that's expensive. I'll probably never get it, unless I got some money to spend. One day I'm at work, and I'd run machines, and we're allowed to be on our laptops and browse the internet, so you don't go stir crazy. I look it up. I see it in my watch list on page 1. For some reason, the seller reduced it by like 80%. So for about $15, I got this 6-disc set of The Pretty Things live at the BBC, one of my favorite British invasion bands. Just has sessions from 1964 all the way up to 2018.
I remember when you got that. You were so excited.
Now, I know some of this is not going to be in great fidelity. Some of it's going to be from the actual tapes and transcription discs. But I know a lot of this stuff exists as off-air recordings. But I'm sure they probably cleaned it up really nice. But I have a lot of this stuff on other spread-out comps. But there's a lot on here I don't have. Like a lot of stuff from their Swan Song era. So this is going to be a really cool listen when we're stuck in the house and it's snowing out or something.
Chauncey says Camper Van Beethoven was great live. They have a live album called Greatest Hits Played Faster. That's perfect.
Now, I talked about British folk rock earlier. I showed you the Steel Eye Span records. I've been trying to get a copy of this CD for a long time, and it keeps going in and out of print, and you see crazy Amazon, eBay, Discogs prices. I was actually finally able to score one cheap. This is Fairport Convention, House Full, live at the LA Troubadour in 1970. This is right after Sandy Denny left, and it was still the original 4 or 5 guys. I think Ashley Hutchins may still be in there. No, he's not. He's gone by then. No, Dave Pegg is playing bass. Now, the great story behind this, being live at the LA Troubadour in 1970, the night this was being recorded, because of his connections to 2 members of another band, all of Led Zeppelin were in the audience watching. And Dave Pegg, the bass player, was from Birmingham. He was friendly with Plant and Bonham. Pretty much all of Led Zeppelin got up on stage and played with Fairport Convention, and it was all recorded. But Peter Grant, their manager, was there and said, "Give me those tapes." Who knows where those tapes are now? What an awesome archival release that would be if it could come out.
That's
but
not it.
This is supposed to, I've heard a track or 2 of this on our radio station. But this is supposed to be a really hot Richard Thompson performance on here. Great songs. Matty Groves. Of course, it has all these, British folk songs with weird titles. Jenny's Chickens, The Mason's Apron. What the hell does that mean? But it's supposed to be really, really great. We were out at not a garage sale. There's a moving company in town who they kind of do what that Curiosity Incorporated do. We use them to move big items, but when an elderly family member dies and they need to clean out the house, this movie company does it, and all the stuff that's like worthwhile keeping money, they'll put into their storage warehouse and open up to the public and sell things once in a while. And I found 2 cheap CDs. I'm not much into the blues. You think I would be because all the stuff I listen to is blues based, but I do like it. I'm just not a blues bore. I found a cheap best of Buddy Guy, who recently played in Interlochen at the Arts Center. My boss actually went to see them, and he's not a big blues fan. He said he was sitting there, like, I couldn't tell one song from the next. I turned to my friend. I was like, "Are we still on the same song?"
Oh, no.
And another best of John Lee Hooker, this time 1965 to 1974. I have another best of John Lee, and I think I have 1 or 2 albums. So
is that everything?
That's everything.
Oh my goodness! I thought we'd never get there.
Any questions?
Yeah. Any
comments?
Any questions? We'll just keep moving on now.
Any zesty locale chicken recipes you want to share?
DJ H Record Helm says, "Nice, pretty things said." I know John was so excited when he got that. I remember
I couldn't believe
telling me about this major
like
deal he got.
$50 or more on eBay, and then one day I looked, just looking at my watch list, it was marked down to like $14.99 or $18.
You were like, I can't believe it.
I said, I gotta get that. I'll regret it if I don't.
So we're getting towards the end of our stream, and we're almost at 2 hours and about 30 seconds.
I just wanted, other people are doing this thing of what they want for music and collecting in 2023.
It's so
and
weird.
The other day,
I
made a little scribbly list.
The Jetsons or something.
Shouldn't we have flying cars and shit now?
Well, what was that going around the other day that they figured out when George Jetson's birthday was? He would have been conceived during this time, and his birth is coming soon.
So going around a few weeks ago, some people are still doing it. What you want from music and vinyl community, music collecting in 2023, and a while ago,
I haven't heard this list yet.
I made a scribbly little list of things I'd like to see next year. Some of it's serious, some of it's just smart ass comments. Number one, more Kinks Super Deluxe editions. I mean, Preservation era is next.
It would be nice. I would buy a Preservation. Like if they put all they should put the Preservation albums as Schoolboys in the same one.
I don't know, because that kind of jumps ahead of soap opera, though.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of
soap
content.
Opera hanging out there. I don't know. It's not chronological. My OCD.
It's the story. Yeah, if that is Flash, then it needs to be.
Preservation Act 2 is kind of a sprawling mess, but I think that whole era needs to be in a big Super Deluxe edition.
Chauncey says Josie and the Pussycats animated on Blu-ray. Is that what you want for Christmas? Or has it not been put on Blu-ray yet? Or maybe he says he has.
We have a DVD. We found it.
Yeah, we have. It's like a few episodes or something.
No, I think it's complete.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to watch it at our age. We need a 50th anniversary Who's Next Super Deluxe, even though the anniversary has passed. I'm really surprised they didn't do one. Maybe there's no more in the vaults. Everything's been on the other bonuses and stuff. I'm really surprised they didn't do a big Super Deluxe of Who's Next. I mean, it's great. They did Sellout. That's an awesome set. Number 3, people in the vinyl community, stop storing your records outside the outer covers. It goes in the inside cover. I don't know why you do that. Robert Fitton said the same thing.
It damages the people think that it somehow damages the cover or something.
If you're shaking a cover around and shit, yeah, you'll split the seams.
But who does that?
If
you're like careful, up and dancing with
if you're careful, you won't split your seams. Have some patience. If it's hard to get in at first, stop. Try again. Shake it around. Flip it on the side. The French people do.
That's what she said. Sorry.
Number 4. Record companies to issue albums of some rarity and not the most common $1 to $3 bin fodder over and over. Do we need another version of this? Well, oh yeah, you shared that the other day. Our local store has an original copy of Rumors for like $100. My store, me and my friend Dennis for last in our budget bin, we kept track of how many copies of Rumors we have for $3 a piece. Last count was like 75.
I don't get it. I don't get it, but I guess I'm old.
Is it because everybody wants it, drives the prices up? But it's Rumors. What I have?
Yep.
Number 5, prices to come down, bubble to burst on new vinyl. Steve went into this. It's kind of like the comic book trading card thing. I know it's going to burst, and this will be left.
It has to. I mean, that's
and
just
all it's going to be left are the real collectors, like elitists like me. I understand the price, but I'd like to see it come down. A Mighty Boosh soundtrack, although that has kind of passed already because the show.
They need all the songs on a soundtrack. That would be awesome. On
green Boosh vinyl.
Yeah.
Well, what color vinyl would it be for the Boosh? I think there's jackets in the zoo.
It should be black and white.
Yeah, black and white. Isn't it about time for the Animals BBC sessions to get an official release? Everyone else has theirs. Beatles, Stones, Kinks, The Who. Hell, I got Marmalade's BBC sessions. The Searchers. Why not the Animals? What's holding this up? Hermits has some interesting BBC sessions. Let's get those out. A Led Zeppelin live 1969 box set. The pick of all their best 1969 shows would be a great, cool box set. CD, vinyl, no cassettes. That's something me and my friend Rob Brannigan always talk about. To have Mickey Dolenz make a bumper for our radio show, or even Ray or
Good
Dave
luck with that.
Davis.
Or
Get
even
Yeah.
like Ray and Dave are like less than Mickey
Or
Dolenz
any of
somehow.
our big favorite artists to make bumpers
Now
for our
that's
show.
a dream. I
That's
don't
a
know how
dream.
that would ever
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
I don't see that ever happening. But
I've always wanted a monkey to do it. And then we get
well, there's only one left.
Becky, our friend Becky Evenkamp, said, "Oh, I can talk to Andrew." I'm like,
Mm,
try. I don't think a little
I don't think
600
it's
watt
gonna
station is
happen.
worth Mickey's time.
Yeah.
Number 10, another or more vinyl community meetups. I mean, we've only met Steve because he's the closest, but somehow it would be cool to meet a few more folks in a general area like TC Cat or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But we're up here in the frozen north almost, so that's kind of what I want for music for 2023.
Aww.
Some things. Any other questions or anything? Or
any questions about that? You sound like a teacher.
No.
You're supposed to, when you're
take out your copybooks.
When you're having an active participation, you're supposed to say, "Now, what questions can I answer for you?" Because at least people, instead of saying, "Do you have any questions?" and they just go, "No, I don't know." You're shaking the camera. So yeah, that's it of our mega 2.5 month
nice
music
to get
purchases.
Caught up, and we can get back to making videos of going through the collection alphabetically.
This kind of takes a little bit of a load off of my shoulders because
there was a lot.
I can just concentrate on doing the collection, and then we can do these types of videos for recent purchases, and they probably won't be this long in the future.
There was just a lot because she discovered Whatnot and was getting crazy deals, and then we went to a record show.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he always buys a lot anyway. He's got a lot every day. There's the little CD mailers in the mail. So
I have connections and I get deals.
Yes, I know. So anyway.
Can you look at?
You don't have any.
Oh, you hit the 3 dots. You can see participants. You see who's watching in case no one's commenting.
Oh, Chauncey says Pete Townsend said he wouldn't do one.
Roger would be more.
Yeah. He says I want to make a T-shirt that says audio files with a line through it. Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah,
that would be good.
I know. It's just
I don't want to disparage anybody from something like you judge the guy with the binder and all the stuff, but it's like there's things that you're strange about. Yeah, like I don't know. There's things I could say, but I'm not going to.
Well,
there's things that I'm strange about.
We're all geeky,
and like I remember when you telling somebody I work with or telling the people I work with about what we're doing here, or our radio show, or the fact that I collect vintage magazines, it makes me feel like such a spotlight is shown on the weirdness of me. Like people ask, what are your hobbies? What do you do with your free time? And most people around here are like, oh, I like to hunt, I like to fish, I like to hike, and that's fine. I don't care what do you. But I feel like I'm such an oddball in so many situations. But it's nice to be able to connect with people here, and that's why I appreciate the vinyl community, because it's like we're all oddballs in our own way. So we shouldn't disparage other people because they're into something and not into something. But
weird is all I got, Roy. That and my sweet style.
Yes.
I know. We tell people what we do, and they look at you like you just said, "Do you like mayonnaise?
What?
You don't like ketchup?
Mayonnaise is too spicy." Yeah.
Yeah. It's a community like any community. It's going to get segmented, and these people we've have been drawn to this certain people. We're part of that group. There's this other group. There's that group. There's younger ones.
And just like with any group, there is some nonsense.
Yeah.
It is what it is. There's some nonsense, but I don't want to waste my time calling out nonsense or calling people out or telling you how it should be or how it shouldn't be and being really aggressive about it. Yeah. It's like, that's not my thing.
No.
You do you, we'll do us. We're good.
Maybe
so
next time we do a live stream, we're thinking of what we got each other for Christmas, doing a live stream, and we may try the thing where we put up a link and some of you could
The stream
join in.
thing. I don't know. There's also when I noticed when we were going live, there's an option that says go live together. So I'm assuming that means you can like tag other people and have them go live. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It might be nice.
We'll see how it goes.
Get some
and
folks
some of you
in
might
here.
not even want to be on here, and that's okay.
might
Kelly
just-
says, I'm a garage sale audiophile. The most expensive piece in my system is a $65 Namakachi amp.
Oh,
that's cool.
yeah.
I'm a bargain. He knows, like, I am a bargain nut. Like we've said, I think in our introductory video, we talked about this a little bit. We're like, we love music and we collect music, but we're not going to go broke. We're not going to put it out of perspective. Like, oh, we didn't pay the electric bill this month because we spent it on Vital or whatever.
We know how to budget, know how to stop.
Yeah. And granted, maybe certain times of year, my credit card gets a little more use than it probably should. But that's my philosophy of you only live once, and sometimes you just got to treat yourself. You work hard, you should be able to reward yourself in some way or another.
It's a nice problem to have. How am I going to find time to listen to all this? Because we both now have to argue. I want to play this now, but I want to play this now. No, we're playing mine.
We're pretty good. He let me listen to an album earlier. It feels like he lets me because this is his sound system. He came here with he entered the relationship with this sound system, so he lets me use it. So, but technically, it is half mine now, right? Well, like the other day, he's on the phone with his friend from back in New Jersey, and they're talking about, what are you going to do with your records when you die? I'm like, seriously, why are you talking about this? But I guess it's an important thing to wonder. And he's like, well, I was thinking, I'd give my 45s to this person and the LPs to that person. I'm standing there like, excuse me? Hello? So, but whatever. It is something to think about because, how many of us in the vinyl community or record or music collectors in general really have a plan for something like that? That when you're gone, you don't want someone to just be like, everybody come in, take what you want for $1 or something like that. You want to make sure, for me, I would want to make sure it's going to go to somebody that's going to appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, enough with the rants and the whatnots and all that.
I can't think of anything else I wanted to mention.
We'll be back probably in a couple after Christmas, or maybe even around Christmas. We'll do a live after the festivities.
I look forward to doing more.
Yeah, we'll do more of the general collection.
People really love that because you talk about a record and I come on and give.
Yeah, it's nice to see that people actually enjoy it. That's what makes it fun too. Is I'm doing this because I feel like John has valid things to say about music and that they should be captured. I think it's really awesome. And and if other people enjoy it, that just makes it even more fun. So getting to meet and talk with you guys is really cool. If you celebrate Christmas, then Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy everything.
Chanukah.
Yeah.
Have you seen Smokey Robinson's cameo where he's just happy Chanukah?
That's terrible.
How did you not know?
Come on, Smokey. I mean, really, you've been all around the world. You're not a little chicken. You should know better. Anyway, happy holidays from JT and Heidi Lee. So I Married a Record Collector. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. I don't have to tell you to do that. If you want to do it, you'll do it, right?
Spread the word.
We're going to end our stream. Thanks so much for everybody in the chat. Yes. DJH Record Hound, Chauncey, Kelly. He says, you were one of the first VC channels I saw this year. Merry Christmas. Wow. Oh, thank you. That's so good.
Cool.
That means a lot. Thank you. I don't think so. No. Kelly, Chauncey, DJH Record Hound, Randall, thank you so much for jumping in the chat and listening to us blather and watching our records and show and all that stuff. So we appreciate you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay warm if you're in colder climates.
Yes.
Stay cool if you're in warmer climates.
That's right. Stay at a nice, regular, comfortable temperature.
If you're back east where I'm from, I know you guys are getting a nor'easter, so be careful.
Yeah. Wherever you're at, stay safe and stay healthy. All right?
Bye.
We'll see ya. Happy holidays.
We'll give you a message to see.